Chapter 459. Before the training room, the ape youth bowed respectfully to the guardian Candeli, after which he became a beam of light and left. The 12 of you wait a moment. The guardian Candeli smiled. Luo Feng looked suspiciously at the old man before him. The other geniuses were too. Candeli smiled. This is your first time entering the training room. Let me remind you, go find a place to stay for the next 30 years, after which you can enter the virtual universe and apply to enter the heavenly bridge. Enter the heavenly bridge? Luo Feng and the others were curious. Enter the virtual universe network and enter the heavenly bridge, you'll understand. Candeli smiled indifferently. You can leave now. Seeing that the guardian didn't want to say much, Luo Feng and the others could only leave. After leaving the residence, Luo Feng and the others immediately split up and began to search for a place to stay. Primal Chaos City took up a huge amount of space. Other than a few special constructions, all the residences were pretty much exactly the same. And most of the doors were pale white, which meant that the residences didn't have owners yet. Where should I choose to stay for the next 30 years? Luo Feng pondered. I'll choose a quiet place near the center of Primal Chaos City. The city leader's residence was right in the center of Primal Chaos City. Around it were many residences. Many of them were unoccupied. Luo Feng very quickly chose a more secluded place. Standing in front of the door, he placed his hand on it. D. The door began to make a sound. Simultaneously the color of the door began to darken, from pale white to dark gray, and then it stopped changing. Welcome, Master. An electronic voice resounded. Luo Feng immediately entered the residence. The first level was a huge living room. The facilities within were complete and advanced. The electronic voice continued. I'm the service AI. While Master is here, I'll be at your service. Whatever you need, like food, drink, etc., just instruct me. Luo Feng immediately followed the stairs, becoming a blur, immediately reaching the balcony of the third level. On the rooftop, there were also some random notes left behind by previous cultivators. However, there was no pattern to it, although one could faintly feel some special intent. After seeing the 52 primal chaos tablets, one was not interested in these random and messy notes. His time in the primal beginning universe was precious. He could not waste it on inefficient things. From today onwards, I will truly begin training in Primal Chaos City. Luo Feng surveyed his surroundings. In the distance, he could see some of the trainers on the balconies. These trainers all had different appearances. Some of their hair was already very long, as though they hadn't moved for many years. Enter the Virtual Universe Network. Virtual Universe, Yuxiang Mountain Absolute Beginning Region Villa 1136. Luo Feng appeared in the villa. Your Highness. The group of servants and guards hastily bowed. Luo Feng nodded, simultaneously saying, Request to enter the heavenly bridge. Understood. On Luo Feng's shoulder, the fist-sized virtual assistant Babata immediately contacted the virtual universe system to request. Very quickly, a voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. Identity confirmed. Luo Feng, you have permanently obtained the right to enter the heavenly bridge. I hope you work hard and reach the end of the bridge. Teleport now. Shua. Luo Feng immediately vanished from the villa. Virtual universe, a special plane space. This space was a vast and endless ocean. The waves raged. There was a beautiful island on the ocean, and there were 52 ports on the edge of the beautiful island. Each port had an endless bridge that extended all the way to the end of the world. It was as if they were going to connect to the distant horizon. These 52 bridges completely enveloped the entire sky above the ocean. Above the ocean waves, there was a faint mist, making one unable to see clearly what was within the ocean. The mist wrapped around the bridges, making it seem like a dream. Luo Feng suddenly appeared in the plaza in the center of the island. Luo Feng, you've come too. There were already 9 youths around. Luo Feng looked. These 9 were from the same batch as him that studied the 9 universe tablet. Do you all know what this place is? Luo Feng asked curiously. You can ask the Lord Watchman. The 9 pointed. Not too far away, there stood a man dressed in a black star robe. This man had 4 ears and no nose. He smiled as he walked over. How do you do, Luo Feng? I'm the Watchman of the Heavenly Bridge, Bevan. However, I prefer others to call me Watchman. How do you do, Lord Watchman? Luo Feng bowed respectfully. Let me introduce you. The Watchman Bevan nodded. This Heavenly Bridge was created specifically for the 52 Primal Chaos Tablets of Primal Chaos City. As our human race has studied the 52 Primal Chaos Tablets for trillions of years, hence within Primal Chaos City, we've formed 52 sections. The Watchman Bevan exclaimed, for example, you all study the 9 Universe Tablet, naturally you're part of the 9 Universe sect. And similarly studying the tablets, there's a difference in comprehension. The stronger ones will be given another chance to study the tablet. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Another chance to study the 9 Universe Tablet? After experiencing the enlightenment of the 9 Universe Primal Chaos Tablet, he had a clear direction for his future cultivation. The thrill of progress was indeed addictive. If he could study it again, that would be such a wonderful thing. How do you prove your strength? It's not through words. The Watchman Bevan smiled. Hence we built the Heavenly Bridge in the virtual universe. Passing the bridge, the further you go, the stronger you are. On this island there are 52 heavenly bridges, each corresponding to the 52 Primal Chaos Tablet. You are here to comprehend the 9 Universe Primal Chaos Tablets, so you are here to challenge the 9 Universe Heavenly Bridge. This 9 Universe Heavenly Bridge is incomparably long, and you need to continuously advance through each level. There are a total of 27 levels. If you successfully pass the first level, you'll receive a chance to study it. Every level you pass, you'll receive another chance. The Watchman Bevan smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng was enlightened. Right. He had met that ape youth before in the training room. That ape youth had said, I've successfully passed the 6th level, I've gained another 7 days of study. Obviously, every level he passed meant another chance to study it. However, the Heavenly Bridge is very hard to pass. The Watchman Bevan exclaimed, punks like you, normally you can't even pass the first level. Luo Feng was shocked. The 9 Universe Heavenly Bridge has a total of 27 levels. The further you go, the deeper your comprehension of the 9 Universe Tablet. If you completely comprehend the 9 Universe Tablet, you'll be able to pass all 27 levels. However, this is simply too difficult. Undyings usually reach the 10th level. The Watchman Bevan exclaimed, if one can reach the 18th level, they'll be considered invincible amongst the Undyings. Reaching the 21st level, they'll become a universe country leader. What? Luo Feng was shocked. Reaching the 21st level, one could become a universe country leader. Becoming a universe country leader was simply too difficult. From this, one could imagine how difficult it was to reach the 21st level. And becoming an Undying was very difficult too, hence, reaching the 10th level was already very impressive. As for the highest level, the 27th, one had to comprehend the entire 9 Universe Tablet before they could reach it. That was simply too far away. Work hard. The Watchman Bevan smiled. This is a path that leads to the pinnacle. There are many amongst the universe humanity that walk these 52 paths. And the moment you can pass the 18th level, you'll immediately become a permanent resident of Primal Chaos City. There's no need for any other conditions. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Permanent resident of Primal Chaos City? However, passing the 18th level, that was simply too difficult. Those who entered before have failed. The Watchman Bevan looked at Luo Feng and the others. Next, attempt the 9 Universe Heavenly Bridge. Let me. Of the 9 people who had already arrived, one of them immediately transformed into a streak of light and flew towards the 9-universe heavenly bridge of the 52 heavenly bridges. Just 2 minutes later, Watchman Bevan said, "Still a failure. Next. Another failure, next. Failure, next. They've all failed, only you are left, Luo Feng." At this time, there were a total of 12 newcomers attempting the 9-universe heavenly bridge, of which 2 had attempted before Luo Feng had arrived, and now 11 of the 12 had failed consecutively. Only Luo Feng was left. This made the pressure on Luo Feng rise greatly. Indeed, the heavenly bridge is very hard to pass. These are all geniuses. There were 3 in the heaven and earth region, yet none of them passed the first level. Luo Feng, work hard. The Watchman Bevan smiled at Luo Feng. Your batch up till now, along with the 900 that tried before, you've already passed close to 90%. So many, other than Bolin, none of the others have passed the first level. What? Luo Feng was shocked. Many of the others had gone to the training rooms right from the start. Luo Feng had waited for an entire day in the tower, hence it was normal that there were close to 900 geniuses who had passed the heavenly bridge test. Bolin is very strong. He passed the first and second level in one go, gaining 2 additional chances to study. The Watchman Bevan exclaimed. As for the others, even the other genius of the primal region, Long Yun, failed and didn't pass the first level. None of them passed the first level. Pressure. Luo Feng felt the pressure. This batch of absolute geniuses, Bolin, Long Yun and Jialai, she had all been tested. According to the time they entered the training room, when Luo Feng entered, Rong Jun and the Manka youth Wuka, who chose the huge axe tablet, hadn't entered yet. Hence the absolute geniuses from the absolute beginning region that hadn't been tested yet were Luo Feng, Rong Jun and Wuka. Go ahead. The Watchman Bevan looked expectantly at Luo Feng. So, Luo Feng became a blur and headed straight for the distant heavenly bridge that extended all the way to the horizon. From afar, he could see a stone tablet before it. On it were the words 9 Universe. Chapter 460. The heavenly bridge extended all the way to the ends of the land and skies. White mist shrouded the area and the ocean below roared. The moment Luo Feng stepped into the 9 Universe heavenly bridge, Babata's voice resounded in his mind. Luo Feng, I've just received a mail. It's from the Virtual Universe Company. What's the content? Luo Feng asked. It's the points reward rules. Babata said. Points? Luo Feng stood on the heavenly bridge. He couldn't help but be overjoyed. The Virtual Universe Company had many incomparably valuable items, like level 5 spirit weapons were only worth about 10 points, even life fruits could be exchanged for as much as one wanted. The richness of these resources made one speechless, however one had to rely on points to exchange. You may have large amounts of wealth, however within the Virtual Universe Company, they only accepted using points to exchange. There are many ways to exchange for points. Right now in Primal Chaos City, you have one way to get points, that is to pass the Heavenly Bridge. Babata said, the 9 Universe Heavenly Bridge has a total of 27 levels. Passing the first level, 100 points awarded. Passing the second level, another 200 points awarded. Passing the third level, another 400 points awarded. It'll double, after that it'll be 800 points, 1,600 points, 3,200 points. Luo Feng calculated, if he passed the 10th level, the 20th level, his points would be ridiculously high. However, passing the 21st level would make him a universe country leader. One could see how hard it was to get points. Luo Feng, the mail also said, you are newbies that have just entered Primal Chaos City. To the young geniuses, the Virtual Universe Company has a special reward rule. As long as you pass the Heavenly Bridge within 30 years, your points will be 10 times the reward. Which means, within these 30 years, if you pass the first level, the reward will be 1,000 points, the second level will be 2,000 points. So on and so forth. This 10 times reward, is only for the newbies that enter Primal Chaos City for the first time. In the future, when you enter Primal Chaos City again, there won't be such a good thing. Luo Feng nodded. Originally, every level's reward was 100 points, 200 points, now it was 1,000 points, 2,000 points. This was a special reward for the younger generation, however, because they were young, many of them had only just stepped through the door of the universe origin laws. Didn't you hear what the Watchman Bevan said before? The Virtual Universe Company's batch of 1,000 geniuses had already tested close to 900. Other than Bolin, none of the others had passed the first level. Wanting points? Difficult. Let's go. Luo Feng looked at the heavenly bridge that extended beyond the clouds. He squinted and became a beam of light and flew over. Primal Chaos City. Luo Feng and the rest of the 12 were considered to have tested rather late. Like Bolin, Jia Lai Shi, Ai Chen, and many other geniuses had tested long ago, and they swiftly understood Primal Chaos City. To become a permanent resident of Primal Chaos City, there are many ways, but the most impressive one is to pass the 18th level. Anyone who can pass 18 levels of the Heavenly Bridge is an invincible existence amongst undying, and they all have the right to open their own sects in Primal Chaos City. Jiang Mo exclaimed. 52 sections. There are indeed many sections. Qian Shui nodded slightly. To be able to establish a sect is very impressive, said Jiang Mo. They all have extremely high accomplishments in their respective paths. However, if you want to enter those sects and listen to the lectures of those experts, you need to at least reach the 3rd level. Primal Chaos City prohibited killing. It was a cultivation holy land for the entire universe's human race. There were 52 major sects here, and within each sect there were many experts who created their own sections. And to be able to gain the recognition of the city leader and have the right to create their own sect, the sect leader had to at least pass the 18th level. These sect leaders were purely lecturing. The disciples under them, however, listened to the lectures. To have the right to listen to the lectures, one had to pass the first 3 levels of the Heavenly Bridge. If one couldn't even pass the first 3 levels, they had no right to attend. 52 Primal Chaos Tablets, their profoundness varies. Jiang Mo exclaimed. This resulted in the 52 Heavenly Bridges. Some only have 21 levels, some have 24, some have 27, and the highest is 32. Among these 52 Primal Chaos Tablets, only the huge Axe Primal Chaos Tablets Heavenly Bridge has 32 levels. The levels of the Heavenly Bridge, to a certain extent, reflected the profoundness of the tablet. This was because for all the Heavenly Bridges, as long as one could pass the 21st level, one could become a universe country leader. It's not that the profounder the better. Qian Shui shook her head. It's extremely difficult to produce a universe country leader. Even though these 52 tablets vary in profoundness, out of trillions of geniuses, it's rare for one to reach the 21st level. If one can't even pass the 21st level, then what's the point of the huge Axe tablets later levels? Right. Jiang Mo nodded. Within the 52 Primal Chaos tablets, the 9 Universe tablet was considered one of the more profound ones, enough to rank in the top 5. Of course, before becoming a universe country leader, discussing which tablet was more profound had no meaning. Just like the 9 Universe tablets' 9 pictures, especially the last 3 pictures, Luo Feng couldn't feel anything at all. It was simply too mysterious. He couldn't feel any origin laws at all. Primal Chaos City, within a 9-level pagoda. Most of the buildings in Primal Chaos City were exactly the same type of training quarters, and some special structures represented a special status. 9-level pagodas, 7th level. A woman shrouded in black muslin sat cross-legged on the ground. The lower half of her body was a huge snake tail. The snake tail coiled around the ground, and her face was indistinct, making it impossible to see her face clearly. However, Her eyes were as bright as the stars, as if they contained a dazzling galaxy, causing people to be infatuated with her. "You've come." A hoarse voice resounded from the snake-tailed lady. "Ha ha!" A sturdy, golden-armored ape-man with golden fur on his face appeared within the pagoda, laughing loudly. "Wu and you're also one of the sect leaders of my Nine-Universe sect. No matter what, you should open your doors and teach, give pointers to the younger generation." The snake-tailed lady said hoarsely, "True Yen, right now in the Nine-Universe sect, amongst the many sect leaders, you're the strongest. With you teaching, there's no need for me to teach anymore." "Ha ha!" The ape-man laughed loudly. "You and I have trained for trillions of years, there's no use in just training, only the occasional epiphany will have an effect. From what I see, you shouldn't always stay in your Nine-Universe Tower. Back when the Nine-Universe Tower was built, you said you'd comprehend the 9 pictures and reach the top. Why has the Black Mist Emperor become so low profile?" Undyings, there were high and low positions. Normal Undyings could become army leaders and lead an army. And the strong could become kings and officials, like True Yen and Black Mist Emperor. They were both absolute beings amongst the Undyings. They opened their own sects and taught the younger generation. Nine-Universe Tower was very famous in Primal Chaos City, because back then when the Black Mist King built the Nine-Universe Tower, she said that whichever picture she studied, she would enter that floor. Obviously, she had already begun to study the 7th picture of the Nine-Universe Tablet, so she stayed on the 7th floor of the Nine-Universe Tower. "Let's go, our virtual universe company's newest batch of geniuses. 12 have chosen the Nine-Universe Tablet. Let's see if there's any good seedlings. No matter what, I'm still the virtual universe company's True Yen Emperor." The ape-man laughed. "You're the virtual universe company, I'm the Battleaxe Dojo, why should I go with you?" The snake-tailed lady said indifferently. "You're really not giving me face?" The ape-man stared. Even though the two belonged to different powers, their relationship was indeed very deep, both opening their own sects in Primal Chaos City. Back then they discussed their understandings of the Nine-Universe Tablet, one discussion and debate about the origin laws. It lasted for 18 eras. This was one of the great stories of Primal Chaos City. That discussion and debate made the two of them break through another level. "Let's go." The snake-tailed lady glanced at the ape-man. "Ha ha!" The ape-man laughed. "Virtual universe, heavenly bridge." 2 people appeared on the island, the ape-man and the snake-tailed lady. Their pure willpower and pressure made one feel like they were facing an endless galaxy. "True Yen Emperor, Black Mist Emperor." The watchman Bevan bowed respectfully. "Have the little punks of my Nine-Universe sect finished their tests?" The ape-man looked at the watchman. Bevan said respectfully, "This time there are a total of 12 who chose the Nine-Universe Tablet, of which 11 have just finished their tests. Right now the last one, and also the one with the most hope, is called Luofeng." "The one with the most hope?" The ape-man's golden eyebrows creased. The 11 from before all failed. None of them were able to pass the first level. The watchman Bevan said, "Failure doesn't matter." The ape-man smiled and said, "Some people are defeated instantly, some struggle for a long time before they lose, and some almost win. This also represents the difference in strength. Show me the footage of the 11 from before. In a while, show me Luofeng's footage." "Yes." The watchman Bevan immediately pulled out the 11 footage. As the watchman, Bevan had many things to do, like the battle footage of the Heavenly Bridge. He naturally had to prepare it. Who? 11 screens appeared in front of True Yen. True Yen looked at the 11 screens with interest, and the 11 battle videos started playing at the same time. "Ooh." True Yen rubbed his chin, stroking his golden beard, his lips twitching. At this time, Luofeng had run to the end of the first level of the Nine-Universe Heavenly Bridge. "Choose your opponent. You can choose a fighter, a spirit reader controller, a spirit reader hypnotist, any one of them. Whoever defeats them will pass the first level of the Heavenly Bridge." Before Luofeng was a huge cloud, a voice resounded from within. According to the information Luo Feng received, he had to defeat the opponent before the cloud would dissipate, only then could he enter the next level. I choose controller, Luo Feng emphasized. Who? A black liquid immediately flew out of the cloud. This black liquid began to condense in mid-air, forming a mysterious black masked silhouette. This mysterious man stood on the dark cloud shuttle, on his back the dark golden long rod Nanshan armament. Under the black mask a pair of cold eyes stared at Luo Feng, speaking in human language. Battle, begin. End of 2 chapters. Taking a long journey to North Sea, staying up late to write 2 chapters. Brothers, seeing how hard Tomato works, give me some monthly votes to encourage him. Tomato thinks he's hard working too, hence I'm asking for votes. Chapter 461. Defeat him and you'll be able to enter the 2nd level of the Heavenly Bridge. The Cloud Mist spoke. Same as me on the Dark Cloud Shuttle and using the Nanshan armament? Luo Feng squinted, with a thought. The hexagonal Absolute Void Shield and the Ghost Blade Golden Shadow Blade appeared in his hands. Simultaneously the dark golden long rod on his back immediately shot out beams of golden light, a total of 54 beams of light. Every 9 strings of golden light quickly fused together, transforming into a golden sword that was over a foot long and looked very real. The Nanshan armament's 2nd level, sky-piercing form, unleashed 1 golden blade. However, Luo Feng was able to unleash 6 in one go. One reason was because his spirit energy broke through from star level 9 to universe level 1. The more important reason was that during these 3 years of traveling in the universe, Luo Feng's strength had grown at a shocking rate. Kill! The mysterious man roared, stepping on the dark cloud shuttle and rushing over. At the same time, 3 real golden blades swiftly formed behind him. These 2 were both controllers. At the same time, one side controlled 6 golden swords, while the other side controlled 3 golden swords. These 3 years I've never relaxed. Compared to the genius battle, I'm much stronger. I'll let you test my current strength. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with endless fighting spirit. The 6 golden blades seemed to be extremely familiar with each other, working together and pressing forward. Dang, 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 dang. In mid-air, the 6 blades and the mysterious man unleashed his 3 blades, madly attacking again and again. What's going on? Luo Feng was shocked within. Before coming to Primal Chaos City, he could already use 6 golden swords. Controlling the 6 golden swords was the easiest and most familiar thing for him. Because he was so familiar with controlling them, even though he had improved a lot in the 7 days of studying the tablet, he still chose to use 6 golden swords, because he was very familiar with the combination of the 6 golden swords and how to attack. He actually blocked it. I don't believe it. Luo Feng's eyes were cold. The 6 blades, almost like 6 perfect soldiers, advancing and retreating, extremely perfect, attacking again and again, trying to break through the 3 blades' obstructions, to kill the enemy. However, failure, failure, failure. After failing again and again, the 3 golden swords controlled by the mysterious man seemed to have a special artistic conception. It was as if the 3 golden swords were not separate entities, but a perfect whole. From time to time, the 3 golden swords would give off the feeling of an endless wave of pressure. At other times, he was like an unshakable mountain that reached the clouds. How is this possible? Luo Feng was shocked within. I have 6 golden blades, he only controls 3, why can't I have any advantage at all? Work hard. Again and again, he tried everything he could to make the 6 golden swords work together, but his opponent was still floating far away. He could easily block the attacks with just 3 golden swords. Idiot, you don't even understand this. The mysterious man revealed a pair of eyes with a hint of mockery. Trying to pass the first level? Die. Xiao. The 3 golden swords controlled by the mysterious man suddenly changed their forms. Suddenly the 3 got closer to each other, giving off a feeling of three becoming one, almost like a huge blade that could slice through the skies. Luo Feng was shocked within as he controlled the 6 golden swords to block. Rumble, a huge sound resounded. Luo Feng's 6 golden swords were all knocked back. How? In the distance in mid-air, Luo Feng was shocked within. "Haha, idiot! Idiot! Idiot!" the mysterious man roared. Against the 3 rainbows that were coming at him, Luo Feng fiercely roared, "Rise! Rumble! 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 Rumble!" The 3 golden swords behind Luo Feng rose, the 6 that were knocked back rose too. Simultaneously Luo Feng's body glowed with a glaring gold light. The light was like a wave that rippled in all directions, swiftly wrapping around the 9 golden swords. The 9 swords were almost like the base of a huge formation. The golden threads interweaved, the golden blade energy with the 9 swords as the center expanded. In an instant, with Luo Feng as the center, the 300 m radius of the spherical space immediately became a glaring blade energy world. Countless golden blade energy flowed about within this space. Although it was slow, in truth, the moment the 9 swords rose, they swiftly formed the spherical space. Nanshin Armament's 3rd level, Heavenly Blade Formation, also known as the Blade Domain. The Nanshin Armament had a total of 9 levels, of which the 2nd level, the sky-piercing form, was merely the 9 golden blades fusing into one golden blade. The 3rd level, however, required one to simultaneously form 9 blades. That was equivalent to 81 golden blades fusing together to succeed. The difficulty was extremely high, much higher than the 2nd level by tens to hundreds of times. Luo Feng could successfully unleash it. It was due to his huge increase in strength over the past 3 years, and his spirit energy reaching universe level 1. Chi. The 3 golden rainbows seemed to have sunk into a blade energy swamp within the spherical space, being weakened by countless blade energy, their speed constantly decreasing. "I admit you are very strong, however against absolute power, you still lose." Luo Feng stood on the dark cloud shuttle, rushing like lightning towards the distant mysterious man. The Blade Domain, with Luo Feng as the center. As Luo Feng rushed, the entire domain naturally followed swiftly. Break! The mysterious man swiftly fled, simultaneously roaring, "Chi!" The 3 golden swords he controlled actually instantly drew close to each other. Countless golden threads flowed and actually intertwined around the 3 golden swords to form a misty huge golden sword. The misty huge golden sword swiftly cut through the countless sword energies that were obstructing it. With a dreamy rainbow light, it directly pierced towards Luo Feng. "What move is this?" Luo Feng was shocked. He had trained the Nanshin Armament and studied it, however he didn't know anything about this move. "Heavenly Blade!" Luo Feng roared. "Chi!" The 9 blades that formed the Blade Domain had already become one, with Luo Feng's control. Immediately one of them was like a hunting leopard that rushed out, bringing with it the entire Blade Domain's power, piercing straight at the golden huge blade. In an instant, the countless blade energy in the Blade Domain seemed to have received an order to block, or follow behind the golden blade. The golden blade that brought with it the Blade Domain's power. The huge golden blade formed from the fusion of 3 blades. It instantly clashed. Rumble! The golden blade was immediately repelled. The huge golden blade was like a huge ship charging straight, immediately knocking over Luo Feng's golden blade and immediately arriving before him. Luo Feng, who didn't have time to dodge, wielded his blade and shield. Rumble! Luo Feng used his shield to deflect the force, however he felt the huge golden blade was like a majestic mountain smashing at him, causing his entire body to tremble and spit out fresh blood. No wonder even using the Heavenly Blade formation couldn't block it, this force is unbelievable. Following which Luo Feng's consciousness trembled. When he awoke again, he was already back in the virtual universe Yuxiang Mountain, within his villa in the absolute beginning region. "Your Majesty!" The servants and guards bowed. Luo Feng nodded. Your Majesty, how was the heavenly bridge? The manager of the villa, also the leader of the guards, Sector Lord Ao Duali Ku asked. I failed. Luo Feng shook his head. The heavenly bridge is very hard to pass. It's normal to fail the first time. Your Majesty doesn't have to worry too much. Ao Duali Ku said. Luo Feng's expression was calm as he returned to his study. Within the study, I lost. Luo Feng frowned. Out of this batch of 1,000, close to 900 have tested. Other than Bolin, who passed 2 levels, the others didn't even pass one. Failure. I'm not surprised. However, the first level's opponent also used the Nanshin armament, and he only used 3 golden blades, yet he was able to break my heavenly blade formation. Basics. Luo Feng, I've said before that the basics are important. You used 9 golden blades to form the heavenly blade formation. The opponent only used 3 golden blades to win. This is the importance of the basics. On his shoulder, the fist-sized Babata shouted. It's not the same. He used the Nanshin armament with me. It's different. Luo Feng thought back to the battle before. I controlled 6 golden blades, or 9. No matter what, they were all individual bodies, just like 6 soldiers or 9 soldiers working together. However, when he used the Nanshin armament, he was able to form a true superposition of power, almost like a true body, especially that last move. Those 3 blades combined to form a huge golden blade. Nanshin Armament's 3rd level, Heavenly Blade Formation. Nanshin Armament's 4th level, Great Skill. This 4th level was in truth a fusion of a large blade formation, becoming one, using absolute pressure to destroy the opponent. It was named Great Skill. I feel that this move of his is similar to the 4th level. Luo Feng frowned. However, it's different from the 4th level. The 4th level is much more complex and powerful, and it's just 3 golden blades fusing together, yet its power is so ridiculous. This is the 9 Universe Primal Chaos Tablets test. Luo Feng's mind flashed through the 9 Universe Primal Chaos Tablets' first picture, the raindrop picture. On it there were a total of 9 drops, 7 days of study. Luo Feng's mind had a lot of comprehension, thinking back to the battle before, thinking about the raindrop picture. His mind seemed to recall the 3 drops within the picture fusing together. Don't tell me, Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. The 7 days of study in his mind, along with the 3 years of studying the origin laws and using the Nanshin armament, these thoughts clashed, large amounts of sparks flew, new ideas constantly appearing. Excitement. Anticipation. I understand. Luo Feng couldn't help but shout. It's better to have no books than to believe in books. Luo Feng couldn't help but laugh out loud. The Nanshin armament is a weapon created by a strong warrior. Rigidly using the most basic methods to use the Nanshin armament is simply too rigid and stupid. No wonder he said I was stupid. I was indeed stupid. The raindrop picture. This is the true way to unleash the Nanshin armament's true power. 9 Universe Primal Chaos Tablet. It was infused with the true path. Any weapon's usage could be found through the path, finding the correct path. Even though he failed this time, to Luo Feng, the enlightenment and benefits were much greater than success. Let's begin. Luo Feng couldn't wait any longer. Chapter 462. The Virtual Universe Training Grounds was the best place to train, as one could set the best training conditions within the virtual universe, and because it was a 100% simulation compared to training in reality. In terms of experience accumulation and comprehension, the results were exactly the same. Just like the killing fields, the fees were shockingly high, yet countless warriors still entered. And as a core member, he had his own training grounds. After which, Luo Feng wasn't in a rush to observe the universe laws in the sky of Primal Chaos City. Instead, he immersed himself in the 7 days of studying the 9 Universe Tablet, digesting everything he had learned. Your Majesty, His Majesty Wuka has come to visit. The bald Sector Lord Ao Duali Ku shouted. Wuka. Luo Feng walked out of the training grounds, his body becoming a blur, traversing 10 kilometers of distance, immediately reaching the entrance of the villa. Luo Feng, something big has happened. The silver-clothed black-haired youth rushed in. What's the matter? Luo Feng smiled and asked. It's Rong Jun. This Manca prince's face was filled with excitement, saying, You probably don't know yet, yesterday when we went to the Heavenly Bridge to test, our batch of 30 all entered the huge axe bridge. However, including me, the others all failed, unable to pass the first level. Only Rong Jun passed it. Out of our batch of 1,000, only Bolin and Rong Jun succeeded. Bolin passed 2 levels, Rong Jun passed 1, the others didn't even pass a single level. What? Luo Feng was shocked. Rong Jun succeeded? In the genius battle before, he and Rong Jun were pretty much on par. And in these 3 years of travel, his 3 great bodies' improvements were shocking, even though he didn't say it on the surface. Within his heart, Luo Feng was certain, he was definitely ranked second. However, the result of the Heavenly Bridge was like this. And just now, Wuka said excitedly, the leader of the Yuan Qin Universe Country, appeared in Primal Chaos City and took Rong Jun as his disciple. Universe Country Leader? Luo Feng was shocked. Universe Country Leader led a vast universe country. In the vast universe, they were considered the true ruling class. Under them were large amounts of undyings. How can that be? Luo Feng couldn't believe it. Even Bolin didn't make a universe country leader personally take him as a disciple. Right, I don't believe it either. Wuka shook his head. At the level of a universe country leader, there's no need to take him as a disciple. They were already absolute beings that hadn't fallen in 1 trillion years, existences that watched over a universe country. Even Bolin, the possibility of him becoming a universe country leader was very, very small. Hence, geniuses weren't worth the universe country leaders taking them in as disciples. However, the leader of the Yuan Qin Universe Country had really accepted Rong Jun as a disciple. The information I've received is definitely accurate. Right now the entire universe, the upper echelons of the 1008 universe countries, have all received this information. This. Luo Feng laughed involuntarily. Was there a free lunch in the world? Death God Bolin was a peerless genius that everyone else in this batch of geniuses felt they needed to look up to. He didn't even attract a universe country leader to take him in as a disciple. Instead, Rong Jun obtained a universe country leader as his teacher. That's not what surprised me the most. Wuka lowered his voice. I got a message from my father. HM? Luo Feng's eyes flashed. To take Rong Jun as a disciple, it's not just 1 universe country leader, but 2. Wuka's eyes gleamed. However, you should know that the 1008 universe countries are actually backed by the 5 Leviathans. These 2 universe country leaders, one belongs to the Virtual Universe Company, the other belongs to the Battle Axe Dojo. As Rong Jun is a member of the Virtual Universe Company, he was finally accepted as a disciple by the Yuan Qin Universe Country leader. What? 2 universe country leaders fighting? Luo Feng was speechless. No matter, Rong Jun is temporarily stronger than us. Wuka gripped his fist. Anyway, I won't admit defeat so easily. My father said, these 30 years in Primal Chaos City are our starting 30 years, and also the foundation for our future accomplishments. Right now the training in Primal Chaos City has just begun, it's still hard to say. Luo Feng nodded. Not just Rong Jun, even Bolin, in Luo Feng's heart, was only the first target he needed to surpass. How's your study of the 9 Universe Tablet? Wuka asked curiously. Still all right, Luo Feng said. I suggest you go to the empty training balconies in Primal Chaos City to take a look. Many of them were scribbled by the ancestors when they studied. Wuka smiled. With our movement speed, spending 10 days to half a month, and we'll be able to walk around and find the most suitable scribbles for us. The primal chaos tablet is ultimately too profound, and other people's scribbles may have some sort of effect. This kind of collision of comprehension is the easiest way to improve. This is what my father said. Luo Feng was shocked as he looked at Wuka. His one battle on the heavenly bridge had allowed him to comprehend much and improve greatly. This collision of comprehension was indeed very effective. Thank you, Luo Feng said seriously. No need to thank me. Only competing with the strong is meaningful. The stronger the opponent, the faster one's improvement. Wuka smiled. I'm leaving to find some scribbles. Knowing that Rong Jun has been accepted as a disciple by a universe country leader, my battle intent is very strong now. After which he vanished. Luo Feng nodded. He couldn't underestimate anyone. To be able to rank in the top 10 of the 1008 universe countries, no one could be underestimated. He had the Masha clansman and the golden horned beast. Why couldn't others have other special encounters? After 7 days of study, I've more or less digested everything. The first picture of the 9 universe tablet, raindrop picture, to fully comprehend it, it's definitely not something that can be done in a few days. I'll have to look at the scribbles of the ancestors. Luo Feng's consciousness immediately left the virtual universe and returned to Primal Chaos City. After which, he began a carpet search within the city. Virtual Universe, Thunder Island. Thunder Island was the Virtual Universe Company's Undying's gathering place, the true upper echelon's gathering place. The incomparably vast Thunder Island was shrouded in clouds, with lightning snakes swimming about. If Yuxiang Mountain was larger than a normal planet, then Thunder Island was more than 1,000,000 Yuxiang Mountains. This batch of 1,000 geniuses attempted the heavenly bridge. What were the results? The green-armored purple-scaled man sat high up in the throne and looked down, his voice resounding within this incomparably huge shrine. Night. Below stood a steel tower-like giant, covered in golden fur and a lion-headed man. His golden fur was incredibly glaring, his entire being was like a star, incredibly dazzling. At this time he was reporting respectfully, this batch of 1,000 geniuses, 998, have all failed the heavenly bridge. Bolin has successfully passed 2 levels, Rong Jun has successfully passed 1 level. And looking at the footage of the heavenly bridge, the other members of the absolute beginning region have done very well. Like Luo Feng, Qian Shui and Wuka, they've all done well. Compared to the genius battles, they've all improved greatly. The green-armored purple-scaled man nodded. Only Rong Jun alone surprised me, the others are still normal. Send me the footage of Rong Jun's battle on the heavenly bridge. The green-armored purple-scaled man ordered. Yes, Knight. The lion-headed man respectfully sent the footage over. After which, a screen appeared in the shrine, and a video started playing. In the video, Rong Jun was like a god of war. He had a savage aura, and his earth-splitter blade had reached the acme of perfection. Every slash of his blade was incomparably ferocious, and in the end, he killed his opponent who was also using the earth-splitter blade. The green-armored purple-scaled man watched calmly, creasing his eyebrows. You may leave. Yes. The lion-headed man respectfully retreated. The divine hall was silent. The green-armored purple-scaled man examined the footage and muttered, That's weird. This Rong Jun's battle talent is indeed shocking. Even though his origin law comprehension isn't that strong, he's able to unleash an extremely strong battle strength. Creating his own blade technique at such a young age, he's a very powerful genius. However, this isn't worth Yuan Chen and Gu Luan, these 2 universe country leaders, fighting over him as a disciple. Yuan Chen, Gu Luan, these 2 universe country leaders have existed for extremely long periods of time, much older than me. The green-armored purple-scaled man creased his eyebrows. They've also reached the night level earlier than me. Maybe they've discovered something from this footage that I haven't. As an absolute being on the same level as the Yuan Chun and Gu Luan universe country leaders. Nine-Blade Knight was very clear that geniuses had no attraction to the universe country leaders. So what if they nurtured a genius? Unless they nurtured a universe country leader, otherwise it wouldn't be of much benefit to them. Even Bolin didn't have anyone fighting over him as a disciple. However, for Rong Jun, there were two universe country leaders fighting over him. There's definitely a secret. Yuan Chun and Gu Luan, these two old geezers, are the longest living universe country leaders. They've definitely discovered something. Nine-Blade Knight watched the footage once. With his level of being, he had long since analyzed the footage thoroughly. Whatever he could discover would have been discovered long ago. Why? What secret? Nine-Blade Knight pondered for a while. He could only bury it deep within. Primal Chaos City, 7th level of the 9-level pagoda. The golden-armored 8-man warrior True Yen Emperor was discussing with the snake-tailed lady about the matter of the Yuan Chen universe country leader coming to Primal Chaos City to take Rong Jun as a disciple. Rong Jun, his battle talent is extremely high. The snake-tailed lady said hoarsely. His origin law comprehension may be low, but he's able to explode with extremely strong battle strength. Very exceptional. This wave of 1,000 geniuses from your virtual universe company, other than Bolin, it's his turn. You can't say that. True Yen Emperor said, of the 12 punks that chose the 9-universe tablet, there's one that's no weaker than Rong Jun, maybe even stronger. You're talking about Luo Feng? The snake-tailed lady nodded. Right, that punk is only universe level 1 and he's actually able to unleash the heavenly blade formation. It's just that he doesn't know how to adapt. His usage of the Nanshan armament is still stuck at the most basic level. However, his origin law comprehension foundation is very solid. With just a bit of training, his battle strength will rise by a huge amount. In terms of origin law comprehension, Bolin is number 1. This Luo Feng can be considered number 2. HM. The 8-man warrior True Yen Emperor rubbed his chin, muttering, this Luo Feng is definitely a good seedling of our 9-universe sect. I'll have to give him a little hint. What are you doing? The snake-tailed lady was shocked. Why, that Rong Jun has a universe country leader as his teacher. I'm just giving him a little hint. The 8-man shook his head. Right now in Primal Chaos City, I'm number 1 under the universe country leaders of the 9-universe sect. Those universe country leaders look down on Luo Feng, Bolin and the others. My standards aren't that high, I still look up to them. When that Luo Feng passes the 3rd level of the Heavenly Bridge, he'll have the right to listen to my lessons. After a few tens of thousands of years, I might have an absolute undying under me. Haha. The snake-tailed lady shook her head and closed her eyes. Seeing that, the 8-man warrior laughed and didn't disturb her any further, immediately vanishing from the tower. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Chapter 463. Within Primal Chaos City, energy revolved. Dressed in the cloud contact vine armor, Luo Feng stood on the balcony of a training quarters, looking at the distant training quarters. These past 8 days, he had been doing a carpet search. The entire Primal Chaos City had large amounts of empty training quarters. Many of them had scribbles left behind by countless warriors. It wasn't just Luo Feng who was searching, like the Manka Prince Wuka, Long Yun who entered the Primal region, Qian Shui and Rong Jun etc. from the same absolute beginning region. They were all searching for those scribbles. This group of young geniuses were all clear. The 30 years in Primal Chaos City was their 30 years of building their foundations, and the fastest way to improve wasn't to just bury one's head in training. As the saying goes, sharpening one's axe won't hold up the work. Choosing the right path of thought was very important. There was no need to observe the universe origin laws from the start. Hence, they were all searching for the scribbles of the previous generations. 112 of them have great feelings. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. Which one should I choose? The 9-universe tablet's 9 pictures were profound, and the scribbles of the other warriors were like detailed interpretations, allowing people like Luo Feng to comprehend them more effectively. Luo Feng. A clear voice resounded. Luo Feng turned to look. A lady with slightly curly long green hair, mysterious green engravings on her face, almost like it was made of water, floated down on the balcony, smiling gently as she said, "Luo Feng, have you found a suitable engraving for you?" "Not yet, I've found 112 scribbles, they're all not bad, I don't know which one to choose." Luo Feng shook his head. "Qian Shui, how's your search?" Qian Shui, one of the genius siblings from Aogu Sea Planet, also an absolute beginning member. "I'm hesitating too. Under my teacher's recommendation, I have 3 choices." Qian Shui smiled. I won't talk to you anymore. My teacher saw the video of you crossing the sky-crossing heavenly bridge. He said that in our batch, your comprehension of the origin laws is second only to Bolin. You're even stronger than Rong Jun, ah? Luo Feng frowned. "Work hard, you may be ahead now, but that doesn't mean you'll always be ahead. These 30 years will be the biggest changes." Qian Shui flew up. "I'm leaving." A green silhouette flew into the distance and vanished within the chaos energy flow. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. "Your batch of 1,000 geniuses, quite a few of them have quite a strong background, all of them have rankers guiding them from behind," Babata said. "Unfortunately, I can't help you, no problem." Luo Feng didn't mind as he smiled. Suddenly Babata was shocked. "Luo Feng, I've received a mail, it's sent from the Virtual Universe Company." Luo Feng was shocked, immediately sending a thread of his consciousness into the Virtual Universe Network. Virtual Universe Network, Absolute Beginning Region, Luo Feng's villa. In the study room, Luo Feng sat in front of his desk and looked at the mail on his laptop. "Luo Feng, I've seen the video of you crossing the heavenly bridge, it's not bad, it's just that your usage of the Nanshin armament is too rigid. Weapons were dead, but people were alive. As for how to use the Nanshin armament, naturally you have to maximize its power. You've just started studying the 9-universe primal chaos tablet, so I suggest that you go buy a combat mystic art called Floating Blood. It only costs 800 points. After you buy the Floating Blood mystic art, go to the rooftop of Cultivation Residence number 029-002-8981 to take a look. There are inscriptions left behind by the creator of the Floating Blood. This should be the most suitable for you to learn the first 3 diagrams of the 9-universe primal chaos tablet in my 9-universe sect. Work hard, I have high hopes for you." Tru Yen, a simple mail, however it was sent from within the Virtual Universe Company, it wasn't normal at all. As he was a core member of the company, normal people wouldn't know his network number. Finding his network number, and even sending it through the company's internal network, this person was obviously one of the upper echelons of the Virtual Universe Company. Tru Yen? Luo Feng sat in front of his desk, curious, who is he? Tru Yen, I don't know either. Babata too had a curious expression. Babata, find me information on Floating Blood and Tru Yen. Luo Feng ordered. Different statuses had different levels of authority. Normal people could only see some filtered information in the Virtual Universe Network. Some secrets, like the bug race, automaton race etc., couldn't be found at all. And Luo Feng's position was high now. His authority was much higher too. Understood. Babata said excitedly. The laptop's screen immediately changed. Large amounts of information appeared. This is all related to Tru Yen. Babata shouted. Luo Feng stared at the screen, there was a lot of information on it. He couldn't help but get shocked. Tru Yen technique. Created by Tru Yen Emperor, the Virtual Universe Company's internal selling price is actually 800,000 points. My god, teacher's soul imprint, Babata you estimated it to be only about 10,000 points. This Tru Yen technique is actually that expensive? Tru Yen Emperor? Babata was shocked. This Tru Yen, he's actually been named Emperor? What's wrong? Luo Feng asked curiously. Luo Feng. Babata was extremely excited. You don't know. Both undyings, however the difference in power and position is huge, normal undyings can become a general, leading large amounts of universe warriors to form an army. And some of the absolute warriors amongst the undyings can even be named Emperor by the Virtual Universe Company or the Battle Axe Dojo. Undyings who are named Emperor are considered absolute warriors amongst the undyings, like your teacher. He barely has the right to be named Emperor. And the pinnacle of the undyings, and even higher undyings and invincible beings, are usually named Emperor. That's terrifying, and looking at this true yen technique, it's actually selling for 800,000 points. My god, it definitely belongs to the entire universe. Amongst the many undyings, he's the pinnacle of being closest to a universe country leader. This kind of being is very, very strong. Babata said excitedly. Luo Feng understood within. General, conferred Marquis, conferred King, these three positions, to a certain extent reflected one's power. Babata, the enemy that killed my teacher back then, how strong was he? Luo Feng asked, and the excited Babata was stunned. His blood-red eyes dimmed slightly, after which he said slowly, "The enemy that killed your teacher back then was very strong. Your teacher barely had the strength of an official, and that enemy should be at the pinnacle of an official, or even an emperor." Luo Feng was shocked. Someone like his teacher could barely be an official. The enemy could actually barely be an emperor. No wonder his teacher lost so badly back then. That kind of warrior, in your Ganwu universe country, can be ranked in the top 3. Babata said solemnly. Luo Feng was shocked. The Ganwu universe country has over 10,000 undyings. 1,008 universe countries, undyings that can be named emperor are extremely few. They're all absolute warriors. They usually don't want to stay in a particular universe country. These that can be named emperor are mostly under the 5 Leviathans or independent. Babata said solemnly. Every single one of them are incredibly strong. They're the closest to a universe country leader. One technique can sell for 800,000 points. True yen emperor, even amongst the emperors, he's considered one of the top. Babata said. I saw a technique created by a universe country leader in the treasure trove before. It only sold for 1 million points. A technique created by a universe country leader sold for 1 million points. A technique created by true yen emperor sold for 800,000 points. One could see how terrifying true yen emperor was. Haha. Luo Feng laughed. Babata, before you were still talking about who had a huge figure or background behind them. I, Luo Feng, don't have a huge background or a huge figure, but I can still attract people to teach me. Haha. Within, Luo Feng was very grateful to the mysterious absolute warrior True Yen Emperor. This mail to True Yen was just a casual reminder. However, to Luo Feng, it was a huge help in building his foundations. Have you found the floating blood? Luo Feng asked. I've found it. On the screen appeared many pieces of information related to the floating blood. Compared to the vague introduction of True Yen Emperor, the introduction of floating blood was obviously much more detailed. Obviously, True Yan's information was extremely confidential. With Luo Feng's authority, he could only find the most basic information. Floating blood, creator Lien Luo, is a basic technique of the 9 Universe sect. It mainly talks about the first 3 pictures of the 9 Universe Primal Chaos Tablet, requires 800 points to exchange. Lien Luo, ranked number 1 in the Genius Battle, was chosen to enter the Primal region and chose the 9 Universe Primal Chaos Tablet. After tens of thousands of years of hard work, he created the pinnacle of the 9 Universe Primal Chaos Tablet's basic techniques, floating blood. After becoming undying, he was immediately given the title Blood-Clothed Official. He fell in one of the universe secret regions. Luo Feng read carefully. The information also had many things about Lien Luo. This Lien Luo was ranked number 1 in the Genius Battle back then, an absolute genius. The moment he became undying, He was immediately given the title official. It was a pity he didn't even live for 100,000 years before falling. He died too early. It's a pity. Luo Feng shook his head. If he didn't die early, his future would definitely be limitless. Babata exclaimed and shook his head. Floating blood was a basic technique. It was meant for those below undying level to learn, hence the price wasn't high. However, the price didn't mean it was bad. What Luo Feng needed was a basic technique, and this floating blood was highly recommended by Tru Yen. Obviously it wasn't bad. 800 points, I'm just short of 800 points. Luo Feng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I'm regretting spending the 10,000 points before. Too much, I've spent it all. Who asked you to spend it so quickly? Babata muttered. You didn't instigate it? Luo Feng glanced at Babata on his shoulder. Forget it, I'll first go to number 029-002-8981 balcony to take a look, to see what this genius Lien Luo from a trillion years ago left behind. After seeing Lien Luo's experiences, Luo Feng couldn't help but sigh at this genius from a trillion years ago. He fell too early. He didn't even live for 100,000 years. It was an extremely short lifespan amongst the Undyings. Primal Chaos City. Luo Feng immediately became a blur and swiftly flew up, searching for the place Lien Luo used to live in back then. P.S. I've reached the first chapter, continue writing the second. It's Monday, I'll get some recommendations too. Chapter 464. When Luo Feng was searching for Lien Luo's training grounds from a long time ago, in the virtual universe, Yuxiang Mountain Absolute Beginning Region, Rongjun's Villa Training Grounds. Teacher. Carrying the earth splitter blade on his back, the savage youth, Rongjun, bowed respectfully. In front of him stood a man with a majestic figure and dressed in simple training clothes. Looking at this man, one would feel as though they were looking at a black hole in the starry sky. It would naturally cause one to feel a sense of reverence. He was the Yuanchun Universe country leader, someone who had existed for who knows how many years, an ancient eternal being that lived thousands to tens of thousands of times longer than planets and stars. The Yuanchun country leader nodded. Right now I'm practicing the first acts of the huge axe tablet. Rongjun's eyes gleamed. The Yuanchun country leader extended his hand and a huge axe automatically appeared in it. Simultaneously the space within the training grounds began to warp, changing into a universe space scene. Watch carefully. The Yuanchun country leader's eyes were deep and unfathomable, almost as though it contained a universe space. He raised the huge axe in his hand and immediately his entire being seemed to become a huge axe soaring into the sky. Just that powerful willpower that transformed into the huge axe caused the entire space to tremble, almost as though it was about to split apart. Who? He waved the axe. The country lord of Yuanchun coldly waved the gigantic axe in his hand. Instantly, the starry space froze like a piece of paper, before directly splitting apart. Even the stars in front of him were split apart. After that, the entire training space trembled and the starry space dissipated, returning to normal. Rongjun's eyes stared wide open, the scene from before flashing through his mind. Raising the axe, his willpower was condensed to the extreme. Waving the axe, space froze and then split apart like a piece of paper. The giant axe primal chaos tablet is the most profound among the 52 tablets. The Yuanchun country leader said coldly, after you comprehend the first axe and pass the fourth level of the heavenly bridge, I'll demonstrate the second axe for you. Yes, teacher. Rongjun said respectfully. The Yuanchun country leader nodded, his lips curling up as though he was smiling. After which he vanished. So that's how it is, so that's how it is. After his teacher left, savage Rongjun's eyes gleamed with excitement. So that's how the first axe is displayed. The Yuanchun Universe country leader had intentionally slowed down his movements when he displayed it, using his willpower to guide Rongjun, allowing him to comprehend it to the greatest extent. Foster father. Just watch, watch two-man walk to the peak. Savage Rong Jun mumbled softly. After which, he started to study the first acts. As the first acts of the huge Axe Primal Chaos Tablet, it was indeed mysterious and profound. If he could comprehend the first acts, he could easily defeat that absolute genius Bolin. After all, Bolin had only passed the second level previously. Outside Primal Chaos City. So this is Primal Chaos City's third treasure. The white-clothed young man Bolin with the blood sword on his back stood at the entrance of Primal Chaos City, reading the words on the huge stone tablet that introduced the so-called third treasure. His cold eyes flashed with light. "Teacher, you told me to find you after I reached Undying. I will reach Undying as fast as I can, definitely." Boron. In the past 10 million years of genius battles, he had always been number one, even though he had heard that a universe country leader had taken Rong Jun as a disciple. But in his heart, he had never seen anyone as a worthy opponent. He was invincible in his heart, so he was invincible. His opponent was himself. Faster, faster, faster. He wanted to reach the Undying Realm even faster, become a super expert among the Undying Realm, and become a noble emperor. Bolin muttered. It was because he had such a high conviction that he had improved so much in the space origin laws. His comprehension of space was extremely strong. Naturally, his comprehension of the various energies within space was also extremely strong. Actually, he could have researched gold, wood, water, fire, earth, any one of them. These 5 were very compatible with space. However, he had chosen the wind. Because wind, lightning, light, they were very compatible with time. His ambition was huge, even more terrifying than the Time Sector Lord. However, in terms of talent, he was much stronger than the Time Sector Lord Luo. He had the ability to do so. Rong Jun, with the Yuan Qin Universe Country Leader as his teacher, his own battle talent was extremely strong too. Bolin, he didn't even put anyone else in his eyes. His opponent was himself. The other geniuses, like hypnotist Jia Lai Shi, Wuka, Ai Chen, Jiang Mo, Long Yun, etc., all had their own fortuitous encounters. To be able to reach where they were today, none of them would easily admit defeat. They still wanted to charge into the absolute beginning region, the primal region. Like Long Yun, a primal region genius, yet he was being suppressed by Rong Jun. How could he be satisfied? Chaos energy flowed about. Luo Feng walked on the streets, looking at the training quarters ahead. This training quarters had a line of words on the wall. 9 Universe Sect. As long as there were many different sects of words on the wall, it meant that this training quarters belonged to a certain sect's public training quarters. No one was allowed to use it. After all, other than the 52 Primal Chaos Tablets, there were still many exceptional markings on the roofs of Primal Chaos City. Hence these were all public training quarters. Anyone could come and take a look. Of the 112 that Luo Feng had chosen before, 103 of them were public training quarters. Floating Blood's founder Lian Luo, so this was where he stayed back then. Out of the 112 I chose before, there wasn't this place. Luo Feng sighed within. There was no choice. Primal Chaos City was simply too big. There were simply too many training quarters. A short 8 days of carpet searching. Every single one of the markings was destined to be impossible to study. He could only rely on a short period of time to judge. Entering the quarters. Very quickly, he followed the stairs and arrived at the balcony. On the 100 long and wide balcony, there were messy markings. Simultaneously there were a few peculiar words. This is the genius Lian Luo's training quarters? Luo Feng frowned curiously. True Yen Emperor recommended this? Schwa. Luo Feng jumped off the balcony and landed at the entrance. Looking at the number on the door frame, it was indeed 029-002-8981. The number is correct, it's here. Luo Feng jumped and landed on the balcony. This balcony markings. Luo Feng looked carefully. All of the buildings in Primal Chaos City seemed to use the same type of ore, this type of ore that appeared in the Primal Universe. Even after 1,000,000,000 years, it didn't decay. It was very mysterious. The markings on it were still very clear after 1,000,000,000 years. Blade intent? Luo Feng looked at the messy markings on the balcony, squatting down, carefully studying them. These seemingly random markings indeed had many similarities with the 9 Universe tablet. It does have the feeling of the 9 Universe tablet, however it's just bits and pieces, it's not a system, what's the use? But Tru Yen Emperor told me to come here. Luo Feng's gaze swept, suddenly seeing a few peculiar words at the side of the balcony. Babata, translate it for me, see what it means. Luo Feng thought. No problem. Babata swiftly translated. The screen on Luo Feng's arm appeared with the translated words. I, Lien Luo, comprehended the 9 Universe tablet. After 3,000 years of study, I've finally created the floating blood manual, haha. Once I've completed it, the first 3 pictures no longer hold any mysteries for me, everything is incomparably clear. These 3 pictures are the foundations for comprehending the 9 Universe tablet. My foundations are very solid, how many can compare to me, even if others study the 4th picture there. Comprehension of space might not match up to mine, the 4th, 5th and 6th pictures. I have 100% confidence in how to train. In the future I'll definitely become undying. I'll definitely become an emperor. A few lines of words, a total of 108 words. However, when translated into Chinese, the number of words was slightly different. That confident? Luo Feng was shocked. These words were filled with excitement and strong confidence. Even with trillions of years separating them, Luo Feng could almost see the distant ancient times. An absolute genius created the floating blood technique and was extremely confident in the future, leaving behind these words. Indeed, his improvement speed was shocking. After breaking through to undying, he was immediately made an official. When he fell, his lifespan wasn't even 100,000 years. If he lived a little longer, becoming an emperor wouldn't be a problem. Luo Feng nodded with his improvement speed. He wasn't any weaker than Bolin at all. Standing on the balcony, Luo Feng was silent for a while. Luo Feng. Babata shouted, this Lien Luo should be right. The first 3 diagrams are the foundation of the 9 Universe Primal Chaos Tablet. And this, floating blood, is praised by Tru Yen as the best basic type of secret technique. For him to be able to create this secret technique, it is clear that his understanding of the first 3 diagrams has already reached the peak. The stronger the foundation, the stronger the momentum. Just like when you attempted the first level of the Heavenly Bridge, the opponent only used 3 golden blades, yet he was able to unleash even more power than you using 9 blades to unleash the Heavenly Blade formation. Luo Feng had long known the importance of the foundation. To be able to build a skyscraper, the stronger the foundation, the more shocking the result. That Lien Luo's foundation had obviously reached the pinnacle. Luo Feng looked silently at the few lines of words. Quietly looking, what are you looking at? Are you listening to me? Babata shouted unhappily. Don't be noisy. Luo Feng's expression was serious, his eyes gleaming, staring at the 108 peculiar words he couldn't understand at all. Tru Yen told me to look, it should be to look at these 108 words. Babata was shocked. I didn't realize it before, but after looking at it for a while, I realized it. Luo Feng's eyes stared hard. These 108 words, every word has a slightly different concept, however the entire 108 words together form an incomparable perfection. If one didn't carefully examine it, they wouldn't be able to tell that each of the 108 words has a different concept. Luo Feng's mind flashed through the 9 Universe tablet's 3rd picture. The 3rd picture was the rainstorm picture, a total of 108 raindrops. Terrifying. Too terrifying. Luo Feng's eyes couldn't hide the shock. He actually managed to express all the concepts of the rainstorm picture through these 108 words. Even though he couldn't see through it, after carefully examining it and comparing it, he realized it. Compared to the abstract raindrops, these strokes were complicated. The strokes were like blade moves, they were much more lifelike. From the information I searched before, floating blood is a technique that uses the blade. Right, every word is a blade move, the 108 blade moves, completely explaining the 9 universe tablets foundation. Luo Feng finally realized how terrifying that genius Lian Luo from back then was. He didn't have time to be shocked. Luo Feng was already completely immersed in these 108 words, comparing them with the comprehension he gained from the 9 universe tablet. He worked hard to search for the 108 blade move. Chapter 465. The 9 universe tablet has a total of 9 pictures. The first raindrop picture has 9 raindrops. Every drop has a different concept. While Luo Feng was immersed in the 108 words, he constantly compared them with the raindrop picture. Within these 108 words, there are 9 words that correspond to the raindrop picture. These 9 words, along with the 9 raindrops, Luo Feng could feel that they were almost exactly the same. The 9 words were complicated. It made Luo Feng feel like there were 9 blade forms. Profound. The more Luo Feng studied these 9 words, the more he felt they were profound. Every set of sword techniques was a supreme law of the universe. Every blade form explained a certain essence of the universe space. Even though from the surface he could deduce that the 9 words corresponded to the raindrop picture, being able to deduce and comprehending was too different. Even people who didn't understand English, seeing 2 similar letters would be able to determine they were the same letter. However, learning English was thousands to tens of thousands of times harder than discerning whether the letters were the same or not. Luo Feng was like that now. When Luo Feng was on the balcony of his training quarters, immersed in it, Babata, who was bored within the wrist space, exclaimed, "That's crazy! How can anyone comprehend the space origin laws like that?" Even when the boss became an undying back then, he didn't study so deeply into the essence of the universe space. That Lian Luo, no wonder he was number 1 in the genius battle a trillion years ago. A genius is indeed a genius, even the way he does things is so sick. Comprehending the space laws actually didn't have to be so complicated. Just like many people on Earth learning how to use a computer, learning how to use a Word document, they just needed to learn how to use it. And back then Lian Luo actually analyzed the essence of the universe space and used 108 words to express it. Just like learning a Word document, this Lian Luo didn't just simply learn how to use it. He had to constantly analyze the entire document, figuring out how it was written, analyzing the essence. Comprehending the universe origin laws was the same. That kind of blurry comprehension allowed the cultivator to understand what to do better, what was right. Hence, relying on that mysterious feeling, they could unleash attacks that contained the origin laws, hence their power was ridiculously strong. However, that kind of feeling was determined to be extremely mysterious. If others asked, they wouldn't be able to explain. They could only exclaim, "It can only be experienced, not explained." Wrong. Unspeakable bullsh *t. It wasn't that it couldn't be explained, it was just that many experts and even undying existences didn't understand the essence of it. Of course they couldn't explain it clearly. For example, the Masha clan's clone relied on its compatibility with space. Perhaps its combat power was a mess, but in terms of its understanding of space laws, the Masha clan's clone was exactly the same as the Earth body. True Yen is indeed an existence close to the level of a universe country leader. Letting Luo Feng research the essence of the universe space is indeed a very correct way of thinking. Babata was very clear, because he had personally witnessed the master of the Yunmo planet, Hu Yen Bo's training process. His cultivation speed was very fast at first, but the further he went, the more difficult it became. The further he went, the more he felt that the space origin source law was extremely profound. It was very difficult to completely see through it. If I study the essence of the universe from the start and do it step by step, it might be much slower at the start. But in the later stages, the speed of improvement will become faster and faster. Babata sighed softly. No wonder Boss used tens of millions of years to barely reach the level of a conferred marquis. And that Lien Luo, in less than 100,000 years, the moment he became an undying, he was immediately conferred the title of marquis. The gap. When I unleash my movement, I can create over 20 images with a single movement. However, why do I have so many images? I've never understood. Luo Feng studied for a while. Feeling his mental state grow weary, he couldn't help but exclaim, "Right now, I finally understand a little." Just a little. However, understanding this little bit made Luo Feng shocked within. "Babata, how long have I been studying for?" Luo Feng asked. "A little over 18 days. Babata replied. "Over half a month, and I've only comprehended a little bit of the first blade form?" Luo Feng sighed within. Comprehending the origin laws and studying its essence, the difficulty was obviously different. With my speed, to study the first blade form, how long would that take? It's a pity I don't have the floating blood manual. These 108 words were after all just words. That floating blood manual was the training method left behind by Lien Luo back then. If he had that manual, Luo Feng was confident, his research speed would definitely be much faster. 800 points. Luo Feng gritted his teeth. Luo Feng, if you pass the first level of the Heavenly Bridge, won't you get 1,000 points? I know. Luo Feng shook his head. However, I still don't have 100% confidence in passing the first level. These few days, at least the comprehension from the 9-universe tablet had been completely digested. His comprehension of the space laws had deepened. If he were to unleash the Heavenly Blade formation now, its power would definitely be much stronger. Maybe he could win, but he didn't have 100% confidence. If I can comprehend the first blade form, 9 golden blades with this first concept as a link, forming a perfect body, its power would definitely be ridiculously strong. Luo Feng's initial research allowed him to understand the benefits of comprehending the first blade form. Luo Feng gazed into the distance of Primal Chaos City. After training for so long, my mental state is tired. I'll go take a look outside the city. That black-robed man from before said there were 3 treasures in Primal Chaos City. This third treasure is described on the stone tablet outside the city. Luo Feng knew he couldn't continue studying in his current state, hence he swiftly headed towards one of the city gates. Just what was this third treasure? The first treasure, the Primal Universe's outer laws. The second treasure, the 52 Primal Chaos Tablet. The third treasure, what was it? Primal Chaos City, within a huge, ancient mansion. All of you leave. The ape-man waved his hand. Yes, teacher. The 10 Undyings and Sector Lords below all bowed respectfully and left the mansion. That Luo Feng actually didn't buy the floating blood technique? Tru Yen sat on the chair and frowned. At the same time, his consciousness communicated with his artificial intelligence. He's a member of the Absolute Beginning Mystic Realm, so he should have received 10,000 points. What? He already used it up at the start? From the AI, he found out about Luo Feng's 10,000 points before. Tru Yen was speechless. He actually bought the illusionary techniques? Tru Yen shook his head. With his current strength, there's no need to buy the illusionary techniques. He should buy a more basic technique, one that suits him is the best. This punk used up all his points in one go, it's really… Tru Yen suddenly frowned. This is troublesome. Lien Luo, that monster, back then he spent tens of thousands of years to analyze the 108 blade forms. This analysis of the origin laws is much harder than comprehension. It tests one's comprehension and temperament, and also tests one's comprehension of the space origin laws. Unless one is an absolute genius, it's very hard to succeed. From the start, to slowly analyze the universe space essence, in the future, one's accomplishments would be very high. This point of the universe, humanity's 1008 universe countries. Who didn't know? However, even though they knew, this method wasn't widely used, because the requirements for temperament, comprehension and space comprehension were ridiculously high. Firstly, one's space comprehension had to be high. If one couldn't comprehend the space origin laws, how would one study it? As for temperament and comprehension, one had to remain calm during the study. The moment one became rash, everything would be for naught. The importance of temperament one could imagine. And this sort of analysis of the universe space essence, comprehension was even more important. Walking this path, for most experts, would only waste the long years. Lien Luo, first place in the battle of geniuses, needed tens of thousands of years. Those who were slightly less talented, such as Jiang Mo, Ai Chen, and Wuka, might need millions of years. And those normal warriors and geniuses would waste a sector lord's lifespan of 1,000 eras and still not succeed. Even though these 30 years in Primal Chaos City are very important to him. However, letting him suffer a little, wasting a few years is fine. True Yen shook his head. Let him remember better, to understand that some precious items can't be used up before figuring out their best uses. True Yen didn't think any further. Even though he paid attention to Luo Feng, it was after all due to them being from the same faction and path. He only gave him a little pointers. He didn't have to go to the extent of helping Luo Feng. Luo Feng wasn't worth it at all. Primal Chaos City, the city walls extended endlessly. The city gates opened, occasionally warriors would enter or leave. Luo Feng too followed the gates and headed out. Where's the stone tablet? Luo Feng stood at the city gates, looking at the endless wasteland that extended into the distance, engulfed in chaos energy. Suddenly he turned to the left and saw an incomparably huge stone tablet. On it were densely packed universe language words. On it was describing Primal Chaos City's third treasure. Primal Chaos Spirit? Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. The contents of the stone tablet were roughly Primal Chaos Spirit. When the universe is in its initial state, this primal universe will naturally produce a few peculiar life forms. These life forms look peculiar. They are temporarily named Primal Chaos Beasts. These beasts have varying strengths. Some are strong and some weak. They are all naturally proficient in a few origin laws. Some are proficient in more. Some are proficient in less. When a Chaos Beast was killed, it would decompose into large amounts of Chaos Aura and a kind of jade-green light spot. This jade-green light spot was the core of the Chaos Beast. Chaos Beasts did not have a soul, they only had these life spots. These life spots were called Chaos True Spirit. As long as one absorbs the Primal Chaos Spirit into his body, it will be absorbed by his own soul. After absorbing the Primal Chaos Spirit, the soul will undergo some changes, becoming more compatible with the universe space. Luo Feng. A voice made Luo Feng, who hadn't finished reading the stone tablet's contents, turn around. In the distance, savage Rong Jun was rushing down from mid-air, landing with a thud on the ground, barefooting towards Luo Feng, smiling. Haha, I haven't seen you come out these few days. Are you preparing to leave the city to hunt the Primal Chaos Beast too? However, you have to be careful, because of hunting the Primal Chaos Beasts, we've already lost quite a few people in this batch. P.S. Chapter 1 here. Chapter 466. What? Luo Feng was shocked. You said quite a few people died? Rong Jun shook his head. When I first found out, I was just as shocked as you. However, after that I went out to hunt the Primal Chaos Beasts. It wasn't strange anymore. And do you still remember? Back when we sat in the universe ship and were sent to the Primal Universe, that knight said those words. Luo Feng recalled the scene back then, nodding. I remember. Back then when the green-armored purple-scaled man sent the 1,000 geniuses over, he said, you were all brought here by me. I hope to see all of you alive in 30 years. Back then when he heard that, Luo Feng guessed that Primal Chaos City would probably have some dangers. However, after spending a few days in Primal Chaos City, he felt rather safe. It felt like a holy land for cultivators to comprehend. Humans were forbidden from killing each other here. Whoever killed others would die without a doubt. Even if they didn't kill anyone, they would still be severely punished. And looking at the balconies, the large amounts of warriors training hard, one could only feel the atmosphere of training. There was no sense of danger at all. "It's really dangerous," Rong Jun emphasized. "Don't get careless, those primal chaos beasts aren't to be messed with at all." The 1,000 geniuses that came this time all received the Virtual Universe Company's rewards and free points. The lowest is 10 mixed elements. The points can be exchanged for precious items too. Who doesn't have a trump card? Luo Feng creased his eyebrows and nodded. Things weren't looking good. The geniuses weren't to be messed with, yet so many had died. This primal chaos spirit was a good thing, however it wasn't easy to get. The worst thing is that there are so many of them. Even if you bring firearms and an advanced universe ship, if you're not careful and get surrounded, you'll be instantly killed. Rong Jun emphasized, "Let me remind you, be careful and cautious. This is the real world, not the virtual universe network. The moment you die, you'll really be finished." Luo Feng held his breath. Watching Rong Jun leave, Luo Feng was a little confused by his earlier words. He couldn't help but turn and continue looking at the stone tablet. The more one's soul attuned to the universe, the clearer one's comprehension of the universe origin laws. When a sector lord becomes undying, it's a transformation of the soul. And absorbing the primal chaos spirit, it's a gradual transformation. The transformation is small. The undying soul is already eternal, hence absorbing the primal chaos spirit is useless. It's only effective against those below undying. Note 1. Undying is forbidden from attacking chaos beasts. 2. The beasts had low intelligence. They had already been split into 3 regions by the absolute warriors of Primal Chaos City. The first region, which was the closest to Primal Chaos City, about 2,000 kilometers away from the city walls, was filled with universe-level beasts. This region was the inner region. The second region was 2,000 kilometers away from Primal Chaos City walls, 10,000 kilometers. This was the middle region, where Domain Lord-level Primal Chaos beasts lived. The third region was the outermost layer. It was filled with Sector Lord-level beasts. Primal Chaos beasts, their strength was mainly at the universe level, Sector Lord level. The moment an undying level beast was discovered, Primal Chaos City would send warriors to destroy it. Thirdly, domain level cultivators could only hunt chaos beasts in the middle layer. They were forbidden from appearing in the inner layer. Realm lords can only hunt chaos beasts in the outer layer. They are forbidden from appearing in the inner and middle layers. After reading the contents of the stone tablet, Luo Feng was silent. F***CK. It's obviously to nurture the younger generation. Babata shouted. These primal chaos beasts have been split into 3 regions. With Primal Chaos City's strength, they could instantly kill all the chaos beasts. But they didn't kill them, they raised them. Also, area lords can only be in the middle layer, and sector lords can only be in the outer layer. Clearly, the innermost layer is left for you guys. Luo Feng nodded. Primal Chaos City was one of the sacred lands of humanity. Many of the arrangements here were to nurture generations of warriors, allowing humanity to prosper forever. Letting the youths risk their lives to kill the beasts was obviously to train the later generations. Flowers in a greenhouse, their futures were limited. Even though it was safer to stay in Primal Chaos City for 30 years, having a sense of danger was a good thing. It was beneficial for nurturing the later generations. Primal Chaos Beasts. Luo Feng's thoughts moved. The dark red armor on his body swiftly extended, forming a helmet. His entire body was covered in the cloud contact armor, revealing only his eyes. Let's go take a look and see what these things are. Dressed in a dark red armor, Luo Feng stood on the dark cloud shuttle and carried the dark golden long rod on his back. The chaos energy floated about, making it difficult for the naked eye to see too far. In the vast wasteland, weeds grew everywhere. This wasteland that had existed for who knows how many years, even the unknown weeds and rocks that could be seen everywhere were different in nature from the actual universe. Over the years, under the nurturing of the chaos energy, these rocks all had the same characteristic. No matter how long they existed, they wouldn't rot. Luo Feng carefully advanced. Sha HM? His ears twitched. He immediately landed and hid behind a rock, carefully looking ahead. A black shadow walked out of the weeds in the distance. It was a creature that looked like an ape about 3 meters tall. Its body was bent, and its long arms were directly on the ground. Other than the white fur on its face, there was only a brown vertical eye and a mouth. However, it had no nose or ears. Its tail was raised high and trembling slightly. How strong is it? Luo Feng's consciousness contacted Babata. I don't know. In the actual universe, there's no such thing as a primal chaos beast. Hence the energy it emits. I have no way of determining what level of strength it has. Babata said. Ah. Luo Feng nodded. The ape-like primal chaos beast that was running in the distance, its tail raised high like a radar, suddenly stopped. It fiercely turned and looked towards Luo Feng's direction. That single eye immediately emitted rage and killing intent. Rumble! That raised tail fiercely swung, and the primal chaos beast immediately became a blur and reached before Luo Feng. That huge palm grabbed at him. Go! Luo Feng stood on the dark cloud shuttle and retreated, controlling it with his mind. Xiao! 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 9 golden lights immediately rose from Luo Feng's back. Simultaneously, 6 of them shot towards the incoming primal chaos beast. Howl, the ape-like primal chaos beast swung its tail once more, creating a series of afterimages. It actually dodged 3 of the golden blades. Dang! 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 3 consecutive clangs. The primal chaos beast's sharp claws seemed to wave just like that, immediately smashing away Luo Feng's 3 golden blades. At the same time the blades were sent flying, heavenly blade formation. Luo Feng frowned. Immediately, the surrounding area was enveloped in a golden ripple. The 9 golden blades floated and formed a blade domain. Compared to the heavenly bridge back then, the current blade domain was obviously much more organized. At least there wasn't any messy blade energy shooting in all directions. The blade energy was much more orderly now. With a glaring golden rainbow, one of the golden blades carried the blade domain and countless blade energy condensed. It immediately pierced towards the primal chaos beast. Howl! The primal chaos beast roared ferociously. It waved its furry tail and sped up to escape, almost as though it felt that the attack was very powerful. However, how could its escape speed compare to the Nanshin armament's attack speed? Rumble! The primal chaos beast that couldn't escape in time punched the rainbow with both fists. With a loud sound, the chaos beast's thick arms exploded. Golden blood splattered everywhere, and flesh and bones flew everywhere. That golden streak of sword light had sliced off its head. Rumble! The ape-like chaos beast fell to the ground. At the same time, its golden blood, skin, bones, and flesh started to corrode, turning into chaotic air current. At the same time, a jade-green spot of light floated up. Primal chaos spirit! Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. He immediately used spirit energy to envelop that light. Chi! The moment the spirit energy touched the primal chaos spirit, it began to melt. Spirit energy is spirit energy. The soul is formed from large amounts of spirit energy. It's not strange that spirit energy can absorb the primal chaos spirit. Luo Feng immediately absorbed about 10% of the primal chaos spirit into his core. His 3 bodies weren't the core. This core was the true core. Rumble! The surrounding energy rippled violently. Howl! Howl! One by one, these chaos beasts with curved bodies, white fur on their faces, and vertical eyes suddenly flew out from the bushes around them. At a glance, there were at least a few hundred chaos beasts. In terms of aura, some of these chaos beasts were obviously much stronger than the chaos beast from before. Not good. Luo Feng didn't even have any thoughts of defending, so a silver-white pyramid automaton ship appeared in mid-air. However, these primal chaos beasts were simply too fast. Howl! Howl! Luo Feng's body immediately extended dark red vines. 10 vines fiercely flew towards the madly charging group of primal chaos beasts. Rumble, the leader, a tall ape-like primal chaos beast, was whipped flying and spat out fresh blood. However, it didn't die. Luo Feng rushed into the automaton ship and the cabin door closed. Rumble, the group of primal chaos beasts outside were madly attacking the walls of the ship. However, this was an E-grade automaton ship. How could these beasts, which were at most equivalent to Universe Level 9 primal chaos beasts, mess with it? I finally understand. A group of geniuses, all with ships, all with large amounts of wealth, all able to get powerful laser weapons and rail cannons. Why would they still die? Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief. If it wasn't for the automaton ship, he might have been able to escape with the cloud contact vine. However, he would definitely be in a terrible state. Hunting primal chaos beasts, yes, hunting. Just like a hunter. Quietly and instantly killing them. Absorbing their primal chaos spirit and immediately escaping. Luo Feng thought. Before, when it roared and attracted its comrades, I shouldn't have fought it and immediately escaped. In the air above Primal Chaos City, a silver-white pyramid automaton ship appeared in mid-air. After which, the ship disappeared and Luo Feng landed within the city. However, this scene didn't catch anyone's attention. In the Black Dragon Mountain star field, automaton ships were rare and precious. However, to Primal Chaos City, the sacred land of humanity, the undyings that came here, many of them were richer than Hu Yen Bo. An automaton ship was simply too common. Maybe it's because I've been too tired these few days. Today I actually wrote 2 chapters late. During the past 4 days I really wasn't able to update regularly. I've informed everyone beforehand, so it's not considered late. Today it's considered late. 2 chapters late. Tomato owes 2 chapters. Earlier, I owed 6 chapters. Because March 12 Saturday was a rest day, Tomato added 2 chapters. However, today, I've continuously been late. So, I owe 6 chapters. Chapter 467. Luo Feng landed on the balcony of his training quarters. Primal Chaos Spirit. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows, clearly feeling the core within his body. Within the core, the whirlpool galaxy formed from Luo Feng's soul essence was slowly revolving. The resplendent and dreamy whirlpool galaxy had a total of 8 spiral arms. Back when he first reached Universe Level 1, this whirlpool galaxy's core already had a small dark region, a tiny black hole. And now, the golden horned beast was already Universe Level 9, its most basic soul was naturally at Universe Level 9. Reaching Universe Level 9, the Whirlpool Galaxy's core however had a huge black hole, and within the 8 spiral arms were tiny black holes too. The 8 black holes were slowly swallowing the surrounding star dust. The center black hole, 8 miniature black holes. The formation of these 9 black holes represented Universe Level 9, and for a Universe Level 9 to step into Domain Lord, it required the 9 black holes to swallow the entire galaxy, undergoing the most basic transformation. Universe level to Domain Lord. This level was very difficult. Chi-Chi, the jade green light landed within the Whirlpool Galaxy and was swiftly pulled, immediately being swallowed by the center black hole. In the outer regions of the Whirlpool Galaxy that couldn't be reached, threads of mist formed, enveloping the entire galaxy. The Whirlpool Galaxy seemed to have undergone a very small change. There's a change. Luo Feng closed his eyes, his heart as still as water, feeling the origin law ripples. In terms of feeling the ripples, The golden-horned beast could feel the gold origin law ripples more clearly. The Masha clansman could feel the space origin law ripples more clearly too. The earth body, however, could feel the origin law ripples more blurry, almost like it was separated by layers of mist. And at this time, improvement, they've all improved. Luo Feng revealed a look of glee. Within the vast metal continent within the internal space, the black mountain-like golden-horned beast raised its head and let out an excited roar. Beside it, the black-clothed Luo Feng, who had created close to 1,000 images, stopped too, shouting excitedly, "They've all improved." Yes, the three bodies could feel the origin law ripples more clearly. The golden-horned beast could feel the gold origin laws more clearly, mainly because of its horns, neck, body, wings, tail and claws were covered in golden engravings. These engravings were connected to the gold origin laws within the universe origin laws, hence the golden-horned beast was more proficient in the gold origin laws. It was the same principle. The Masha clan's clone relied on the ripples of the golden engravings on the 10081 facet life crystal core to communicate with the universe's space source, even resonating with the ripples of space. Therefore, not only was it good at comprehending space laws, it was also very powerful when it was used. The three bodies shared a single soul core. Now that his soul core had transformed, the three of them would naturally improve together. The soul core within the core had transformed. For example, the soul in the consciousness sea of the Earth body and the life core of the Masha race clone had also transformed. The origin soul was shared by the three of them, and it was also the core of the three bodies. Once he improved, all three of his bodies would improve. As long as the original core was intact, any one of the three bodies could be reborn if it was destroyed. Even if the three bodies were destroyed, as long as the original core was intact, it would still provide an endless supply of energy to form the three doppelgangers. This was the heaven-defying ability of the innate doppelganger. However, there were advantages and disadvantages. Once the origin core was destroyed, the three clones would die at the same time even if they were millions of miles apart. This was Luo Feng's life gate. Good stuff, it can actually transform the soul, no wonder it's Primal Chaos City's third treasure. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. From the student level to the sector lord level, the soul will only continuously grow stronger, its essence won't change at all. Only from sector lord to undying will there be a fundamental transformation. Right now, relying on this primal chaos spirit, it can actually begin the transformation earlier. Even though the transformation isn't huge, the more it is, the greater the benefits are. Luo Feng was incomparably excited. In terms of battle strength, his earth body was the weakest. The golden-horned beast and Masha clansman were his true trump cards. Obviously, the transformation of the soul was beneficial to the other two. Come, Primal Chaos Beast. Luo Feng's eyes were burning. Such a treasure, if he didn't get more, it would be a waste. Luo Feng once again walked out of Primal Chaos City and into the wilderness shrouded in chaos energy. This place is shrouded in chaos energy. The signal from the detector is completely affected, otherwise I'd have to rely on Babata to scan. Luo Feng thought, if he had a detector to scan his surroundings, there wouldn't be so many geniuses dying. This detector can't scan. Is it because of the primal universe, or is it intentionally done by the manager of Primal Chaos City? Luo Feng was suspicious, but he didn't think much about it. No matter what, to kill the primal chaos beasts, he could only rely on himself. 5 minutes later, half squatting in the grass, Luo Feng carefully stared at the distant primal chaos beast that appeared. This was an extremely large primal chaos beast. Its body was about 30 m long, almost like a mountain moving slowly. Its scalp was shiny like alloy. At the same time there were 2 curved horns on its head. Its eyes were almost completely white, only in the center had a green bean-like pupil. Its pupils emitted a cold aura, its 4 thick hooves were slowly stepping on the ground, its ears perked up, obviously on high alert. Judging from the energy, it shouldn't be stronger than the first ape-like beast I met before. Luo Feng squatted in the grass, his eyes cold, heavenly blade form. The dark golden long rod on his back immediately shot out 81 beams of golden light, every 9 beams swiftly forming a 1 qi long golden blade. The 9 golden blades swiftly rose, simultaneously accompanied by a rumbling golden energy wave that formed a blade domain. Rumble! The golden rainbow shot towards the huge primal chaos beast's head. Howl! The primal chaos beast fiercely turned its head, immediately letting out a furious howl, lowering its head and preparing to use its sharp horn to block the incoming golden rainbow. Chi! The golden blade infused with the endless power of the blade domain, slightly curved, brushing past the horn and piercing straight into the primal chaos beast's head. That alloy-like head was extremely hard, with a chi-chi sound. The golden blade barely managed to pierce into the head, after which with a chi sound, it shot out from the beast's eye socket. Rumble! The primal chaos beast collapsed, along with a jade-green primal chaos spirit floating, its entire body swiftly rotted into large amounts of chaos energy. Xiao! Luo Feng stood on the dark cloud shuttle, his spirit energy engulfing the primal chaos spirit, after which he became a beam of light and vanished. A few seconds later, rumble! 10 huge primal chaos beasts, all of them like thunder, causing the ground to tremble, they all ran over. And in a few seconds, Luo Feng was already a few hundred km away. A few hundred km away. Hiding behind the rubble, feeling the comfortable feeling of absorbing the primal chaos spirit, Luo Feng smiled. Very good, this is how I should hunt the primal chaos beasts, at most 2 attacks. No matter if it succeeds or not, I'll immediately flee. And the battle with the primal chaos beasts, it'll be a good time to test out some of my insight. It began. His life of hunting the primal chaos beasts had finally begun. As he hunted, Luo Feng realized, even though the stone tablet said the inner region's primal chaos beasts were all universe level, in truth over 60% were universe level 1, the rest were universe level 2 to 9, all of them were naturally proficient in the origin laws. Their only weakness was low intelligence. Just like the animals on Earth that hadn't mutated, a simple trap was enough to make these primal chaos beasts fall for it. During the hunt, he would occasionally meet universe level 9 primal chaos beasts. Luckily the cloud contact vine was universe level 9, due to long-term use of the swelling water fruit. Otherwise it would be much more dangerous. 3 months after the hunt began. 2 golden blades merging into one, so it's like this. Unleashing his blade domain, Luo Feng finally succeeded in connecting the 2 blades, one at the front and one at the back. The golden threads connected, actually forming a misty huge golden blade on the outside of the 2 blade. This blurry huge golden blade, with the support of the blade domain, was terrifyingly powerful, instantly killing a primal chaos beast. Connection. Connection. That feeling of being one. Luo Feng remembered that mysterious feeling. It was hard to explain. Of course Luo Feng understood. The reason he couldn't explain it was because he hadn't analyzed the essence of the universe-space laws yet. He had only scratched the surface of the first sword technique in the 108 words of floating blood that he was researching. Even though he hadn't analyzed it yet, at least he knew how to use it. I'll first be able to use it. As for analyzing the essence, I'll take it slow. Luo Feng was filled with anticipation. Right now I can fuse 2 blades. With the blade domain's support, I should be able to take on the Heavenly Bridge's first-level opponent's 3 blades as one right. Even though the opponent had 3 blades as one, he didn't unleash the blade domain. No rush. Maybe it's because I'm not strong enough, hence the opponent didn't unleash the blade domain. Luo Feng wasn't in a rush at all. The 30 years in Primal Chaos City was his time to build his foundations. There was no need to rush, it was best to be steady. 8 months later. 3 blades as one. Constantly experimenting on the Primal Chaos beasts, Luo Feng's understanding of how to infuse the universe laws into the Nanshin armament was getting more and more clear. He could finally follow that mysterious feeling and link the three blades together, forming an incredibly shocking attack. Virtual Universe, Heavenly Bridge. On the island, the black star-robed watchman Bevan looked shocked at the white-robed blood-blade youth before him. Attempting the third level? Bevan looked shocked at the youth before him. Back then, when the batch of 1,000 geniuses had just arrived in Primal Chaos City, this Bolin had once attempted 2 levels in one go. This was extremely rare in Primal Chaos City's history. Who would have thought that in less than a year, this Bolin would return? Bolin nodded. Go, I wish you success. Watchman Bevan smiled. So, the white-robed youth Bolin flew straight towards a certain port at the edge of the island. That port extended out an endless heavenly bridge. The stone tablet before it had 2 words, Universe. 52 primal chaos tablets corresponded to 52 heavenly bridges, of which the huge Axe Heavenly Bridge had 32 levels. It was the highest, and the Universe Heavenly Bridge had 30 levels, ranked second. As for the 9 Universe Heavenly Bridge, it had 27 levels. It was considered one of the highest, enough to rank in the top 5. The lowest of the 52 heavenly bridges was 21 levels. Actually, there wasn't much meaning in the number of levels, because to be able to pass the 21st level, one could become a high and mighty universe country leader. Luo Feng and his batch of geniuses, could one of them become a universe country leader? So, Bolin rushed into the heavenly bridge. Chapter 468. After a while. Watchman Bevan's face revealed shock. He passed. He successfully passed? He's only been in Primal Chaos City for so long, and he actually passed the 3rd level? Even though it was easy to improve at the start, the further one went, the harder it got. However, Bolin was just too sick. Amongst the other geniuses, Rong Jun passed the 1st level, the others all failed. Yet this Bolin actually passed the 3rd. Primal Chaos City's inner universe practitioners were split into 52 sections. The one with the most people was the Battle-Axe sect. This was because many people with a bit of background knew that the Battle-Axe tablet was created by the creator of the Battle-Axe Coliseum. And the 52 tablets corresponded to the Heavenly Bridge. The Battle-Axe Heavenly Bridge had the highest level. The Battle-Axe School had the most people. The Universe School had the least people. Universe, what was universe? Up and down in all directions was the universe. Since ancient times, it was the universe represented space, the universe represented time. This school of thought was called the School of the Universe. This was because the School of the Universe focused on cultivating both the origin-source laws of space and time. Therefore, it was extremely difficult. These 2 origin-source laws were the most difficult type. Comprehending one was already extremely difficult, much less comprehending 2. However, once one comprehended 2, their strength would be terrifying. Pass the 3rd level? Doesn't passing the 3rd level mean he can come and listen to the teacher's lessons? I heard he was the number 1 of the recent genius competition. However, he hasn't even been in Primal Chaos City for a year, and he's already passed the 3rd level. That's unbelievable. Normally in the past, the 1,000 participants of the genius competition, after training for 30 years, the number of people who passed the 3rd level can be counted on one's fingers. This Bolin, he's way ahead of the others. The 3rd level of the Heavenly Bridge was a huge barrier. Once he passed the 3rd level, it meant that he had learned the basics of comprehending the Primal Chaos Tablet. Only then would he have the right to listen to the lectures of the various sect leaders. For example, True Yen King and Black Mist King. They were all super existences who gave lectures. Passing the 18th level, one would become a permanent resident of Primal Chaos City, able to start a sect and teach to the younger generation. Virtual Universe, Yuxiang Mountain Primal Training Grounds. The muscular man, Long Yun, who was wearing a horned helmet and wielding a huge axe, looked at the screen on his arm and couldn't help but be shocked. The third level, Bolin actually passed the third level? How did he improve so quickly? Why? Long Yun tightened his grip on the handle of his axe, causing cracking sounds to ring out. He clenched his teeth, his expression fierce. But why can't I even pass the first level? Why is the disparity between me and Bolin so great? Long Yun was a genius who entered the primitive mystic realm at the same time as Bolin. Not long after entering Primal Chaos City, Bolin and Rongjun had shown off their talents one after the other. At that time, Long Yun felt very uncomfortable because he was a member of the Primal region. He was the one who got second place in the genius contest. However, Rongjun, who was in the absolute beginning region, could pass the first level, but he couldn't. Therefore, Long Yun had been working hard. Just a few days ago, he had tried it once, but he still failed. Who would have thought that Bolin would actually pass the third level? Is the gap between us really so big? Long Yun squatted down in pain, grabbing the ground. What? Bolin reached the third level? This news was almost simultaneously received by Rongjun, Luo Feng, Jiang Mo, Wuka and the others. As they had been in Primal Chaos City for a long time, they often met in the wilderness outside the city. Naturally they knew each other. When one of them received the news, he immediately sent a message to the others. This Bolin has already passed the third level. I don't believe I can't even pass the first level. Wuka waved his fist, after which his consciousness connected to the virtual universe network. Third level. Hypnotist Jia Lai Shi too connected to the universe network. The gap can't be that big. Jiang Mo and Qian Shui, the siblings too chose to attempt the heavenly bridge. I was originally prepared to wait until I could fuse the 4 blades into one and have 100% confidence before attempting it. I didn't expect Bolin to improve so quickly. Then let's go try it now. Luo Feng was triggered by Bolin too. Gritting his teeth, he too attempted the heavenly bridge. A group of geniuses were training in Primal Chaos City. Naturally they were competing in secret. When they first arrived, Bolin had passed the second level. Everyone had tolerated it. After all, Bolin was already very strong. However, 8 months later, Bolin had actually passed the third level. One had to know that 8 months ago, Bolin couldn't pass the third level. This meant that Bolin's improvement in these 8 months was not small. One had to know. Each level of the heavenly bridge got harder and harder. Bolin's improvement had triggered the group of geniuses' arrogant hearts. Immediately out of the 913 geniuses that were still alive, over 100 of them chose to attempt the heavenly bridge not long after they received the news. Virtual universe, heavenly bridge. On that beautiful island shrouded in mist, the watchman Bevan was still dressed in his black star robe. At this time, many youths appeared on the island. So many people. Luo Feng appeared on the island. With a glance, he saw the Manka Prince and a few others from the Sky and Land region and Last Phase region. 9 Universe Heavenly Bridge, Luo Feng. The watchman Bevan smiled. Go, there's no one on the bridge now. Luo Feng couldn't help but reveal a smile. All the best, Luo Feng. Wuka waved his fist and shouted. You too. Luo Feng grinned. I'll inform you all of a piece of news. The genius from the same batch as you, Jia Lai Shi, has just passed the first level. The watchman Bevan shouted. After Bolin and Rongjun, he's the third to pass the first level. Luo Feng, who was preparing to fly towards the heavenly bridge, was stunned. The surrounding group of youths were all stunned. Jia Lai Shi? Hypnotist Jia Lai Shi? Back in the genius battle, Hypnotist Jia Lai Shi's reputation was very high. Many even thought he could make it to number 2. However, in the end, he lost to Madman Luo Feng and didn't make it into the top 10. Hence, he fell to the Sky and Land region. Even though it was the Sky and Land region, strength was still strength. This time, he directly passed the first level. Jia Lai Shi actually passed it? The group of youths were all extremely unsatisfied. Jia Lai Shi. Luo Feng snorted softly. He became a beam of light and flew towards the distant nine-universe heavenly bridge. Primal Chaos City was vast and vast. On one of the balconies of the training quarters, Long Yun was like a wild bull. He stood on the balcony and gazed indifferently at the distant sky, muttering, "Jia Lai, she passed the first level. He's just a sky and land region member, and I'm from the primal region. However, he passed the first level and I didn't. Chaos, an unprecedented chaos." This made Long Yun unable to train at all. Pain, anger, unwillingness, all sorts of emotions tore at his heart. Calm down. I need to calm down. Long Yun's gaze gradually became focused, saying solemnly, "I shouldn't have let my primal region member status become my shackles. I should forget about my identity and train step by step, yes, just like before." Long Yun was originally a very low-profile and stable person. However, his status swiftly rose, becoming a high-up primal region member. Even the leader of the guards was an Undying, and even an Undying called him His Majesty. This caused his mentality to change. No matter what, only 3 have passed the first level. I'm not far behind. Bolan, Rongjun, Jialai Shi. Long Yun's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. Long Yun frowned. His consciousness immediately connected to the virtual universe network and received the latest mail. Luo Feng has just passed the first level. There was only one line of words in the mail. It was from Lancelot. Luo Feng? Long Yun's eyes stared wide. In his mind floated the image of that crazy black-haired youth from before. He was very clear, back then during the top 5 battles, his battle with that madman. Accurately speaking, the madman didn't lose to him, but to the constantly shrinking battle space. I have to pass the first level, definitely. Long Yun had no other thoughts in his mind, only one thought: hard work. Jiao Lai Shi and Luo Feng have both passed the first level? Within the Yuxiang Mountain Heaven region, within a villa, Gu Si Luo, who was holding a wine glass, fiercely crushed it. The red wine flowed through his fingers and landed on the ground. Gu Si Luo, a perfect genius. He was ranked 2nd in the Genius Battle Training Space. During the top 10 battles, he fought against Rongjun. It was the longest of the 10 arena battles. Eventually he lost to Rongjun and could only helplessly enter the Heaven and Earth region. However, even in the Heaven and Earth region, his strength was still publicly acknowledged. Gu Si Luo and Jiao Lai Shi were considered the more tragic absolute geniuses back then. One lost to Rongjun and the other to Luo Feng. They both ended up in the Heaven and Earth region. Jiao Lai Shi, Luo Feng, they both passed. Why did I fail? Gu Si Luo held the glass shard tightly. The shard turned into powder and flowed down. The geniuses were all proud. Just the genius battle alone wasn't enough to convince everyone. Even if they failed, that didn't mean they would always be weak. Primal Chaos City's 30 years were the true foundation years. During these 30 years, they all fought hard, wanting to suppress the other geniuses. Virtual Universe, Absolute Beginning Region Villa 1136, within the 3-story building. Within the study. The first level, I passed straight through this time. Luo Feng swiftly opened his notebook. He was extremely happy. The battle on the first level wasn't as bad as he thought it would be. That opponent, who was also on the Dark Cloud shuttle and used the Nanshin armament, didn't unleash the Heavenly Blade formation. He was only relying on 3 superb golden swords to fight him. Honestly speaking, even though he too could fuse the 3 blades into one, it wasn't as perfect as his opponent's, and he was as agile. Luckily he had the blade domain's support. His power greatly increased, allowing him to instantly kill his opponent. As for the Heavenly Bridge's 2nd level, he tried it out himself. However, he was killed in one move. Treasure Trove. Luo Feng opened the Treasure Trove folder and chose the Techniques category. Too troublesome. Luo Feng couldn't wait to search slowly. Hence, he entered the Floating Blood's name. D. On the notebook's screen, the Floating Blood Manual's introduction appeared. Floating Blood Technique, 800 points to exchange for, Primal Region 30% off, Absolute Beginning Region 20%, Sky and Land Region 10%, Last Phase full price. Very good. Luo Feng smiled. I'll buy it. P.S. After completing 2 chapters, I feel like I've recovered. Tomato will continue to update 3 times. After all, I owe everyone 6 chapters. As for the monthly votes? Let's see how Tomato performs. If he performs well, everyone will vote. Chapter 469. Luo Feng gently tapped and exchanged for the Floating Blood Manual. Trade successful. Deducting 640 points, remaining 360 points. Please wait, someone will immediately send the manual over. A notification appeared on the screen. Unlike buying weapons and life fruits, which had to be exchanged in reality, buying manuals could be obtained directly in the virtual universe. Manuals were after all a form of transmission of knowledge. The virtual universe was after all a 100% simulation. It was the most efficient, fastest and safest way to transmit knowledge. In reality, one still had to verify one's identity. And in the virtual universe, the entire virtual universe was under the supervision of the virtual universe system. These manuals were sold by the virtual universe system. Of course, the delivery was extremely safe. There's a call request. Babata shouted. Connect. Luo Feng's thoughts moved and a screen floated before him. On it appeared a beautiful lady. It was Yu Xiang Mountain's Absolute Beginning Region's Sector Lord Lady Fox. She smiled and said, Your Majesty Luo Feng, we've just received a manual that requires Your Majesty to receive it. All right, I'll be right there. Luo Feng smiled. It was indeed fast. To deliver the goods in reality, just the universe flight alone would take a very long time. So, Luo Feng flew out of his villa and became a beam of light on the dark cloud shuttle, swiftly heading towards the building where the Absolute Beginning Region's entrance was. In a blink of an eye, he had already arrived. With a glance, he could see that Sector Lord Lady Foci was looking up and waiting. Luo Feng rushed down. Your Majesty Luo Feng. Lady Fox smiled and welcomed him. Lady Fox, where's the stuff? Luo Feng looked around. Please wait. Lady Fox looked at the building beside. At this time, a female servant ran out with a silver briefcase and respectfully handed it to Lady Fox. Your Majesty Luo Feng, this is the manual our Absolute Beginning Region just received. It's what you bought. Lady Fox handed it over. Thank you. Luo Feng received it with anticipation. Right. The manuals were very important. These few days, he had truly experienced it. Before, he had the Yun Mo planet inheritance and the Golden Horned Beast inheritance, hence he never had to worry about the manuals. But researching the 9 Universe tablet, whether it was the Yun Mo planet inheritance or the Golden Horned Beast inheritance memories, they couldn't help him at all. Damn it, he had actually used up all his points in the beginning. After studying the first sword technique for more than 8 months, he had only scratched the surface. Points are very precious, and it's very difficult to earn them. The points that were given to us at the beginning are to help us build a solid foundation. Babata, it was foolish of you to tempt me to buy the secret technique. Luo Feng flew in the air above the Absolute Beginning Region on his way back. He spoke to Babata on his shoulder, feeling very upset. You can't blame me. Babata had an innocent look on his face. How would I know what's going on in Primal Chaos City? I only know one thing, and that is to spend points to buy techniques as soon as possible to raise your strength. Don't quibble. After this loss, if I get any precious items with unknown properties in the future, I definitely can't use them easily. Good steel should be used on the edge of the blade. The points that were given at the beginning were used to build a foundation. However, I bought a set of illusionary techniques for the Masha clansmen to use. Luo Feng shook his head. Luckily, he had passed the first level, and because it was the first time a newbie entered Primal Chaos City, in the 30 years he spent in Primal Chaos City, he received 10 times the reward for passing the Heavenly Bridge. Hence, he was able to get 1,000 points. Otherwise, if he wasn't a newbie, the first level only gave 100 points, the second 200, the third 400, it went on and on. One could see how hard it was to get points. Sitting in front of his desk, he placed his laptop to the side and placed the silver briefcase on the desk. With a clap, he opened it. Woo! Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. The briefcase was filled with many black-covered books. Every book had the words, 9 Universe and Floating Blood written in gold in the Universe Common Language, and there were also numbers. Book 1, Book 2, Book 3. Book 110. There's actually 110 books. Luo Feng was a bit shocked. As the training techniques were already very profound, it would take a long time to describe them in words. Just like back when Luo Feng researched the Soul Imprint Manual, just the basic preparations before training the Soul Imprint took up an entire book. In his inherited memories, the Golden Horned Beast's many techniques, many of them in the Universe Common Language, had tens of millions of words or even hundreds of millions of words. Floating Blood is a basic manual, there are 110 of them. Luo Feng was excited, picking up the first book at the very top. In the middle of the black cover was the most conspicuous 2 words, Jiuyu. Beside it was the slightly smaller 2 words, Floating Blood. On the bottom left was the name Lian Luo. Opening the manual, Luo Feng immediately began to read. Introduction to the 9 Universe Tablet? Space Origin Law Comprehension. The Cultivation of Floating Blood? Luo Feng looked at the table of contents and was shocked to discover that this first manual didn't even have a description of the 108 blade forms within the tens of thousands of words. Instead, the author Lian Luo described his understanding of the 9 Universe Tablet and the space origin laws, as well as his own training in the floating blood technique. Overall, the first volume of Floating Blood could be considered as the general outline of the entire manual. Understanding his thoughts, understanding his training path, then studying the 108 blade forms will be more effective. Luo Feng began to immerse himself in reading. The universe space origin laws were vast and profound. To completely study it was an impossible task. Just looking at the countless planets and the incalculable numbers of humans, generation after generation of birth, growth and death, generation after generation of reincarnation, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 10 million years, through trillions of years of reincarnation. In this boundless vast starfield, a universe country leader was finally born. To become a universe country leader, one had to be a time knight or space knight. From this, one could see how difficult it was to completely study and comprehend the space origin laws. The 9 Universe Primal Chaos Tablet was a supreme cultivation grand Tao that allowed one to become a spatial venerable. The 9 Universe Tablet was deep and profound. It corresponded to a total of 27 levels on the Heavenly Bridge. Just reaching the 21st level would allow one to become a space knight, becoming a universe country leader. And this 9 Universe Tablet finally reached the 27th level. If one could truly comprehend the 9 Universe Tablet, then one would truly stand at the pinnacle of the countless races in the vast universe. The 9 Universe Tablet had a total of 9 pictures. According to the first book of Floating Blood, as long as one comprehended the 7 pictures, one could become a space knight, universe country leader. The first diagram was the raindrop diagram, the second was the drizzle diagram, and the third was the rainstorm diagram. These 3 diagrams could be considered to be a deeper and more detailed study of the space origin source law. It was just like how some of the computer languages on Earth were very complicated, but if one dissected the essence, it was the binary code of 01. The essence was simple, it was a binary system. Another example was Chinese. Chinese characters were very complicated, but they were square characters formed by many strokes. Those strokes and strokes were the most basic elements of Chinese characters. Another example was English. No matter how complicated it was, if one dissected it, it was formed from A, B, C, D, etc. letters. The same logic. Although the origin laws of the universe were extremely profound, some of the most fundamental things were still very simple. The first 3 diagrams dissected the origin laws of the universe, breaking them down into a total of 108 different mysteries. If the Chinese language was composed of those strokes and strokes, then the English language was composed of many letters. Then the universe origin laws were formed from the 108 most basic mysteries, constantly going through all sorts of complicated combinations, finally forming a huge origin law. The first 3 pictures were dissected to the deepest depth. The 4th was a star picture, the 5th was a star system picture, and the 6th was a galaxy picture. Whether it was the binary code, the strokes and strokes, or the simple ABCD etc., just knowing these alone wouldn't allow one to create such a huge computer language. It wouldn't be possible to create a dreamlike internet world. It also wouldn't be possible to rely on strokes and strokes to create large amounts of Chinese characters, creating a shocking Chinese civilization. It also wouldn't be possible to rely on simple letters to create large amounts of English systems. To rely on the most basic elements to create an incredibly rich internet world, Chinese world and English world. It required large amounts of combinations, large amounts of grammar, etc. The same logic. The 108 mysteries were the most basic 108 things after the universe origin laws were dissected and broken down. The first to 3rd pictures were a type of dissection. As for the 4th to the 6th diagram, it was a combination of a system, allowing these most basic elements to constantly combine and expand, gradually perfecting and expanding, until finally forming the perfect universe space laws. The 7th picture, that incomparably peculiar beast, it represented the most complete universe space laws. Comprehending the first 7 pictures, one would become a space knight, becoming a universe country leader. So it's like this. I understand. Luo Feng looked at the first 2 parts of the first book, the 9 Universe Tablet Introduction and the Space Origin Law Comprehension. He couldn't help but feel excited. Normal warriors comprehend the laws and train. It's like English, directly learning how to write English words, learning some words today, learning some tomorrow, accumulating over time, one's strength will gradually grow. However, learning without any pattern, it's ultimately complicated and inefficient. And first dissect, then combine. Just like learning the most basic letters, first learning the grammar, then following a pattern to learn words, sentences, etc. Luo Feng smiled. The logic was simple. However, the universe origin laws were trillions of times more complicated than Chinese and computer language. An undying soul calculation speed wasn't any weaker than an AI. However, there were still many who couldn't break through to become a knight in trillions of years. It was because it was too complicated. After all, this was the universe space laws. It encompassed too much. The binary system was able to form the internet world. These 108 wonders could be explained as the 108 binary system. How terrifying would the universe origin laws formed? What's more, the 108 wonders, every one of them, compared to the entire Chinese, English and computer language, were tens of millions of times larger. Much less the laws. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. Chapter 470. The floating blood technique was a technique that dissected the universe space origin laws and essence, using sword techniques to form it. The floating blood first book was the general outline. Book 2, Book 109 contained 108 types of profound analysis, research, and cultivation methods. The 110th book was a summary of the 108 blade technique. Dissecting the essence is incredibly difficult. The universe origin laws revolve in their most perfect form. As for the essence, it requires the cultivator to constantly dissect it. Even the first 3 diagrams of the 9-universe primal chaos tablet only contained 108 kinds of profoundness in 108 raindrops. I can't do such a method. I can only use blade techniques one by one to explain these 108 wonders. To comprehend them is extremely difficult. Among the 108 basic mysteries, the first 9 were the easiest, the middle 27 were the most difficult, 27 plus the first 9 formed the second picture, the drizzle picture, and the last 72 were the most difficult. These 72 combined with the first 36 formed the perfect rainstorm picture. Although the first 9 sets were the easiest, it was extremely difficult to cultivate without peerless innate talent, peerless comprehension, and peerless temperament. Back then I studied for 3,000 years in Primal Chaos City before finally creating Floating Blood. If it were in the actual universe, it would at least take tens of thousands of years. I'll give the later cultivators 2 sentences. 1. If in Primal Chaos City, you train for 20 years and still haven't comprehended the first blade technique, give up on Floating Blood and slowly comprehend it like the other cultivators. This path doesn't suit you. 2. If in the actual universe you train for 200 years and still haven't comprehended the first blade technique, same as above, give up on Floating Blood. The last 2 sentences of the first book made Luo Feng crease his eyebrows. Yes. Before, on the balcony, he saw Lien Luo leave behind a long paragraph of words, study for 3,000 years. These words were left in Primal Chaos City. Naturally it meant that he had studied for a full 3,000 years in Primal Chaos City before he finally succeeded. Studying in Primal Chaos City allowed one to see the universe origin laws in the sky. The efficiency was much higher. Even so, it still took so long. 20 years. Luo Feng said softly, revealing a smile. 20 years without comprehending the first blade technique. Giving up on Floating Blood? Absolute talent? Extreme power of understanding? Mental state? In terms of talent and comprehension, the Masha clan's clone is extremely high. In terms of temperament, maybe I'm slightly weaker than Big Brother and Second Brother, but at least I'm able to maintain a cold and calm state within my heart at all times. Luo Feng thought, talent, comprehension, temperament, these 3 can all be considered top-notch. In the vast universe, the original body of an Earthling might be considered quite talented, but it could not reach the top level that Lien Luo mentioned in the secret technique. The clone of the Masha clan, that would be powerful. This was the universe's strongest assassin clan, the darling of the universe space. In terms of talent, there wasn't a single human clan that could compare to the Masha clan in the space origin laws. The Masha clan trained in the space origin laws, they were the fastest to comprehend, and with Luo Feng's temperament. Of course the conditions were good. Primal Chaos City. Primal chaos energy revolved around. Within the ancient city, one of the training balconies, Luo Feng stood there, gazing at the vast expanse of Primal Chaos City. The Floating Blood. Secret technique starts with sword techniques, but I can quickly master sword technique. Luo Feng pondered. Inside the first volume of the manual, there were many detailed explanations of the sword forms. Through the incomparably complex sword forms, one can gradually experience the concept and finally comprehend the concept that represents the first mystery of the sword form. Sword and blade were both close combat weapons. Sword focused more on stabbing. Blade focused more on chopping. However, Luo Feng's gold shadow blade took the form of the blood shadow blade. Its entire blade was 108 centimeters long, the blade was 80 centimeters and the blade was 5.3 centimeters wide. It was slightly different from the blood shadow blade he used back on Earth. Just by looking at its appearance, one could tell that it was a blade that focused more on stabbing. Many of the two-handed huge swords were even more barbaric than Luo Feng's blade. After using the gold shadow blade for a long time, it wasn't hard for him to use the sword now. In terms of close combat talent, using the sword in close combat, out of my 3 clansmen, the Masha clan is without a doubt the strongest. Luo Feng thought. Then, let's begin. Luo Feng sat cross-legged and looked up at the cracks in the primal chaos sky, the crystal threads and the revolving engravings. That feeling of wonder was intoxicating. Like the tens of thousands of warriors in primal chaos city, Luo Feng too began his meditation training. The primal chaos spirit was effective on the soul. However, it was like eating medicine, the longer it went, the worse the effects would get. Luo Feng had been killing for over 8 months. At the start, the primal chaos spirit allowed his soul to constantly evolve. However, as it evolved and grew, the effects of the primal chaos spirit decreased. Especially in the first 2 months, the improvement was almost undetectable. Right? If there was no limit to the improvement, then just relying on the primal chaos spirit, one's soul could evolve to undying. It was a pity there wasn't such a good thing in this world. No wonder everyone just sits there and meditates. Only the newcomers go out of the city to kill. Actually, to many domain lords and sector lords, they're already full from absorbing the primal chaos spirit. It's no wonder there are still so many lucky survivors of the primal chaos beasts outside. Luo Feng was on the balcony, looking up at the universe origin laws revolving, carefully studying them. Within the internal world, the Masha clansman transformed into the black-clothed Luo Feng, wielding a dark red blade. This blade was made by Babata using some machines and alloys from his storage space. It didn't have any special effects, just a very normal alloy blade, its design completely following the floating blood manual's requirements. Chi, chi, chi. Within the black-clothed Luo Feng's body, that life crystal with 10,081 sides was covered in complicated golden engravings. It glowed and produced ripples that resonated with the universe space. So, over 1,000 images appeared, the blade techniques beautiful. The Masha clansman was born to use close combat weapons, especially with the space origin laws infused with some of the sword techniques. It was even more smooth. Not right. It should be like this. Yes, very good. The black-clothed Luo Feng and his body shared the same core soul. The two naturally simultaneously observed the universe origin laws revolving within the space crack. While observing and comprehending, they used their blade techniques to compare. And Luo Feng's earth body occasionally used the 9 universe tablet to compare, occasionally going to the virtual universe to read the manuals. Time passed day after day. Even though Luo Feng had passed the first level of the Heavenly Bridge and gained another chance to study it, he wasn't in a rush to go immediately. According to the floating blood manual, Lien Luo's instructions, he had to grasp every chance to study it well. He couldn't waste his time. He had to first completely comprehend everything from the last time, and it would be best if he continued to study and ponder. He had large amounts of questions within, only then would he study the 9 universe tablet. As he pondered for a while, he had large amounts of questions within. Hence, it would be very easy to suddenly understand and understand a lot. This way, the efficiency was high enough. After all the time he had to study the 9 universe tablet was limited. China year 2075 June 9th. Luo Feng acquired the floating blood manual and began his training in Primal Chaos City. 75 September, Gusi Luo passed the first level of the Heavenly Bridge. A few days later, Long Yun too passed the first level. 76 January, Luo Feng entered the city leader's residence and began to study the 9 universe tablet. After spending 7 days, not only did he clear up all the questions he had about the first blade technique, he also had a special feeling. The 9 universe tablet completely placed one within the space origin laws. From year 76 to year 77, Prince Wuka of the Manka planet, Qian Shui of the Genius siblings. All of the people from the absolute beginning region had passed the first level of the Heavenly Bridge. From the sounds of it, Wuka and Qian Shui seemed to be very slow. However, in truth, the primal universe time flowed slowly. 3 years had passed in China, but only 1 year had passed in Primal Chaos City. Hence in truth, Wuka and Qian Shui weren't even a year behind Luo Feng. During the second and third years in Primal Chaos City, many geniuses from the Sky and Land region and Last Phase region began to pass the first level in large batches. This batch of 1,000 geniuses, the last one to pass the first level, was at the end of their fourth year in Primal Chaos City. Within Primal Chaos City, the other geniuses were very active at the start, all of them heading out of the city. After discovering that the effects of the Primal Chaos Spirit were getting weaker and weaker, they didn't waste time killing the Primal Chaos Beasts anymore. They only occasionally used the Primal Chaos Beasts to test out their own comprehensions. Most of the time they sat on the balcony. Within the actual universe, China year 2082 August, Luo Feng's eldest son Luo Ping got married and had a child in the same year. After all, in the headquarters city era, there were many 18 or 19-year-olds getting married, and this year, Luo Ping was already 22. Luo Feng was speechless. He had actually become a grandfather? 86. Earth's headquarters city began to expand, as it had been over 20 years since the swallowing beast incident. 20 years, along with the fact that the upper echelon of Earth didn't restrict the citizens from having children, they continued to encourage them to have more children. In the past, humans weren't safe, hence the more the better. As for now, Earth had begun to connect with the universe, discovering the vastness of the universe. Many races had trillions of people. Earth's population was too small, naturally they didn't restrict it. With Earth's rapid advancement in technology, allowing more people to eat their fill was an easy task. 88. Earth's humans occupied a larger area of land, their advantage on land was getting stronger and stronger. In truth, the main reason was that the humans of Earth hadn't wiped out the monsters. To the humans of Earth, the current monsters were the fighters' training targets. 89. Luo Feng's youngest son, Luo Hai, began to explore the universe. His eldest Luo Ping was more stable, however Luo Hai greatly worshipped his father and wanted to explore the universe. Luo Feng had no choice but to arrange for Luo Hai to temporarily go to the Ganwu dojo. 92. Earth's humans, in the Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean and many other ocean regions, some large islands began to build cities. This signified that the humans of Earth had finally begun to enter the ocean region. 99. Mars terraforming began. Of course, what made Luo Feng dumbfounded was, in the year 2103 of the Huaxia calendar, his grandson, who was Luo Ping, got pregnant out of wedlock and gave birth to the little fellow, was also married. My God! If this went on, he had been in Primal Chaos City for about 30 years, 100 years would have passed in the actual universe. 100 years, his own great-grandson and great-great-grandson would probably have appeared. No wonder those ancient beings that have existed for trillions of years, some of the royal families have trillions of people. This reproduction speed is indeed too fast. Luo Feng was helpless, and when 30 years had passed on Earth, only 10 years had passed in Primal Chaos City. Earth's world had changed, and in the distant ancient Primal Chaos City, Luo Feng had only sat quietly for 10 years. P.S. 2 chapters completed, today's transition, tomorrow the third chapter will begin. Chapter 471. Primal Chaos City. As one of the sacred lands of humanity in the universe, having existed for trillions of years, in a short 10 years, Primal Chaos City didn't seem to have changed at all. It was still covered in chaos energy, there were still countless warriors on the balcony. If there was a camera that recorded the scene from 10 years ago, comparing it to 10 years later, one would realize that over half of the warriors in Primal Chaos City hadn't moved at all in 10 years. They're here. HM. In the air above Primal Chaos City stood two majestic silhouettes. One of them was an ape-man dressed in gold armor. His eyes seemed to be able to see through space. The other person beside him was dressed in a white battle robe. He was slightly thin, had a pale face, and had two black horns. However, the space around him seemed to be distorted, and the most unique thing about him was that he kept his eyes closed. Rumble, in the distance, a completely blue curved universe ship appeared. Tru Yen, Tong Nan. A crisp voice resounded. A beautiful lady dressed in blue armor with long purple hair walked out of the cabin door, following which the ship vanished. Exquisite jade. Tru Yen laughed loudly. The white-robed skinny man with his eyes closed also laughed and shouted, "Jade, long time no see. You two have always been training in Primal Chaos City, rarely even entering the virtual universe. I've always been in the Primal Universe. How can I meet you two?" Jade smiled. This Jade was like a jade statue, with a clear feeling, almost like she didn't even exist in this space. "Let's go, come to my place." The white-robed skinny man smiled. After a while, in a peculiar building, light and darkness seemed to be in perfect harmony. Tru Yen Emperor, Tong Nan Emperor and Jade Emperor, these three absolute beings with extremely high positions within the Virtual Universe Company, were seated together. Hee delicious. Jade held up a crystal-clear wine glass, drinking a mouthful. This liquid seemed to have stars revolving within. It was extremely beautiful. "Haha, I've benefited from you two, to be able to drink this 5-colored stars." Tru Yen fiercely swallowed the wine in one gulp, after which he rubbed the fur on his mouth, staring and praising, "Tong Nan, this blind man, he's very stingy. He's been with me for over 100 million years, and he's only let me drink once. It's very expensive." King Tong Nan said in a low voice, "You just drank 30,000 mixed elements. Don't be stingy, don't be stingy. Give me some more. Back then, in the universe secret realm, you earned a lot. Are you feeling heartache just from drinking this bit of wine?" Tru Yen laughed weirdly as he grabbed the wine bottle. The pitch-black cylindrical wine bottle was on the table. Tong Nan King did not stop Tru Yen and allowed him to take it. "Tsk. Tru Yen glanced at Empress Exquisite Jade. "Exquisite Jade, it seems you have quite the reputation." Jade Monarch smiled and glanced at Tong Nan Monarch. As existences with incomparably long lifespans, even if they could allow their loved ones to live for 1,000 epochs, their loved ones would still have long since died in the long river of time. That was why Tru Yen, Jade Queen, and Tong Nan King had no loved ones. To them, friends who had gone through countless life and death battles were equivalent to family. Tru Yen, Tong Nan, and Exquisite Jade were once in the same team, and they were best friends. He had experienced calamities time and time again. Their feelings were very deep, especially for Tong Nan and Exquisite Jade. The two of them even had a trace of affection. However, Tong Nan and Exquisite Jade had never broken through that barrier. Even though they understood each other's feelings, they still maintained their distance. They were used to this feeling, almost like friends, yet also like companions. "What are you here for this time?" Tong Nan Emperor asked. "On the orders of the knight." Exquisite Jade smiled. "Nine-Blade Knight?" Tru Yen was shocked. "What did the knight send you here for?" "The knight values this batch of newcomers. They need to stay in Primal Chaos City for over 30 years, and right now 1/3 of that time has already passed. To a certain extent, we can see their future accomplishment." Exquisite Jade smiled. "And the knight will only come on the last day to pick them up. As for the usual observation, naturally he'll send his underlings. Hence I'm here." "Ah." Tong Nan Emperor, this blind man, nodded. "That's right, this batch of newcomers will be picked up by the Nine-Blade Knight. In the future, if any strong warriors emerge, they'll be under the Nine-Blade Knight." "Right." Exquisite Jade smiled. "Even though this batch of geniuses have a very low chance of becoming undying, I estimate there'll still be a few. With their talent, along with our Virtual Universe Company's long-term nurturing, the moment they become undying, they won't be normal undying. The knight will definitely pay attention to their future underlings. Every genius battle, warrior battle, the Virtual Universe Company would send a knight to host it. Whoever hosted it, the batch of geniuses that eventually became undying would be placed under that knight. If not for this reason, with the knight's status, why would he specially send a bunch of newcomers to Primal Chaos City, and then personally pick them up at the end? This batch of newcomers are not bad, especially that Bolin. He already passed the 4th level half a year ago. Tong Nan Emperor raised his wine glass, gently sipping. Amongst the other geniuses, there are a total of 7 who passed the 2nd level, the rest are at the 1st level. These 7 are Gu Si Luo, Long Yun, Jia Lai Shi Tao, Qian Shui, Wuka and Rong Jun. Rong Jun passed the 2nd level in his 4th year. Tru Yen smiled. Tao passed the 2nd level in his 7th year. Gu Si Luo, Long Yun and Jia Lai Shi all passed the 2nd level in their 8th year. Wuka and Qian Shui all passed the 2nd level in their 9th year. Jade smiled. I know, in terms of strength, Bolin is number 1, Rong Jun is number 2. The 6 behind. Tao, Gu Si Luo, Long Yun, Jia Lai Shi, Wuka and Qian Shui, these 6 aren't too far apart. That blood axe-wielding Tao is slightly ahead. Right, where's Luo Feng who performed well before? Not sure. Tong Nan Emperor shook his head. Tru Yen definitely knows, he's been paying attention to that punk. Tru Yen. Jade looked at the ape-man before her. This Luo Feng. Tru Yen rubbed his chin and head, frowning. How do I put it? His performance when he first came was very good, however these 10 years have been very peculiar. This punk only went out a few times to kill primal chaos beasts outside the city, the other times he's been sitting on the balcony studying. And he hasn't even attempted the heavenly bridge once. Jade nodded and smiled. I've come personally this time to observe them. My first target is Bolin. The knight has also praised Bolin. Each level of the heavenly bridge gets harder and harder. The difficulty is always increasing. I initially thought he would need 20 years to pass the 4th level. I didn't expect him to do it in 10 years. Jade exclaimed and smiled. The second is that Rong Jun. He's ranked 2nd in this batch. I estimate he'll be able to pass the 3rd level in a few years. Right. Tong Nan Emperor and Tru Yen nodded. In his 4th year in Primal Chaos City, he's already passed the 2nd level. Especially this year, he's already tried it twice. He's not far from passing the 3rd level. Tru Yen laughed loudly. And with the Yuan Qin Universe country leader personally teaching him, how can his improvement be slow? Even though he was praising Rong Jun, he was still unhappy within. Because Rong Jun and Bolin weren't from the 9 Universe sect. I recommended this Luo Feng to study floating blood. Did I make a mistake? Analyzing the universe space laws is extremely difficult. Did I delay him? Tru Yen was worried within. Taking the wrong path was a waste of time. If this path didn't work out, then Luo Feng would have wasted 10 years of his precious time. Jade Emperor, under the orders of 9 Blade Knight, came to observe this batch of newbies. With Jade's strength, standing in the distance and observing, this batch of newbies wouldn't be able to detect her. This Bolin, he's not bad, no wonder he's the absolute genius that's been ranked number 1 for 10 million years. Jade floated in the chaos energy flow, looking at the distant wasteland training Bolin. Bolin's gaze was determined, almost as though nothing could affect him. This Rong Jun is a natural warrior, however. Just what is it about him that attracted the 2 universe country leaders? Jade stood in mid-air, gazing at the distant balcony. That messy-haired barefooted Rong Jun was slowly training, occasionally looking up at the sky to observe the universe laws. Long Yun, HM, very steady. If he can persevere with his strong points, his future will be limitless. Wuka, no wonder he's a Manka genius. His battle talent doesn't seem much weaker than Rong Jun's. Queen Jadeite quietly observed the rookies and made a judgment. She planned on reporting it to Supremacy 9 Swords when she returned. This is Luo Feng? Jade walked in a small alley of Primal Chaos City, looking at the nearby balcony of a training quarters. A black-haired youth dressed in dark red armor had his eyes closed, not moving at all. After 10 years, his short hair had already grown long and was completely loose. Don't tell me his comprehension has gone astray? Jade thought. Universe warriors comprehended the universe origin laws. Sometimes they would go astray, sometimes they wouldn't even realize it, only understanding it after many years. Because of comprehension going astray in the vast universe, the warriors of the various races were very common. Not afraid of going astray. Only afraid of going astray and not realizing it. These 30 years are the most crucial 30 years for laying the foundation. Little fellow, I wish you good luck. Jade Empress turned her head and left. On the balcony of the training quarters, Luo Feng sat cross-legged, no one knew, within his internal world. The Masha clansman was undergoing incomparably crazy training. A whole 10 years, the Masha clansman didn't stop at all, immersed in the pleasure of dissecting the universe origin laws. He didn't even notice the flow of time. Rumble! On the balcony, the energy around Luo Feng, who was sitting cross-legged, shook. Dust dispersed, after which he opened his eyes. Hua! He stood up, looking into the distance. Primal Chaos City was exactly the same as before. Time didn't leave a single mark on it. How long have I been training for this time? Luo Feng asked. This time it's longer than the previous times, 3 years and 9 months. Babata replied. Luo Feng gently waved his hand, leaving behind a series of palms in space, smiling. 20 years of training and not enough, I'll give up? Luckily. 10 years, I've spent 10 years to completely comprehend the first blade form. At least I have the right to train this floating blood. It's time to head to the Heavenly Bridge. P.S. First chapter has arrived. Chapter 472. Virtual Universe, Heavenly Bridge. Fully dressed in armor and boots, Luo Feng appeared in the center of the island, causing the overseer of the Heavenly Bridge Bevan to look over in shock, smiling. It's been almost 10 years, why haven't you tried the Heavenly Bridge once? Your companions all attempt it a few times a year. I'm training, I don't want to be distracted. Luo Feng smiled as he walked over. HM? The overseer Bevan was shocked as he looked at the black-haired youth before him, feeling that he was different. I want to attempt the 9-universe bridge, can I enter now? Luo Feng asked. There's no one on the 9-universe bridge. The overseer Bevan smiled. Thanks. Luo Feng moved, schwa, 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 leaving behind a series of images. His body was already on the 9-universe bridge. It feels different, the overseer Bevan muttered. The 9-universe bridge floated above the endless ocean, stretching all the way to the ends of the sky and land. Luo Feng had long passed the first level, hence he flew straight to the end of the second level. At the end was a huge cloud, a voice resounded. Choose your opponent, you can choose a fighter, a spirit reader controller, a spirit reader hypnotist, any one of them. Whoever defeats your opponent will be considered to have passed the second level. I choose. Luo Feng slowly descended from mid-air, his sturdy boots landing on the bridge. Fighter! So, a ball of black liquid flew out from the huge cloud mist. The black liquid swiftly condensed in mid-air to form a mysterious masked man dressed in black armor. This mysterious man carried 2 battle blades on his back. He was slightly taller than Luo Feng. However, his entire being still emitted a powerful energy as he stared coldly at Luo Feng. Chi-chi, Luo Feng's right hand rubbed his head. The blade energy in his palm was sharp, brushing past his hair, immediately slicing off his long hair, restoring his 3-inch short hair. Whatever he looked like in reality, the virtual universe would automatically replicate it. Long hair, I'm really not used to it. Luo Feng smiled and said softly. Humph! The mysterious man carried 2 blades on his back, staring coldly at Luo Feng. Take out your weapons. I'll satisfy you. Luo Feng smiled. Weapons appeared in both his hands. His left hand was a hexagonal shield, absolute space shield. His right hand grabbed a blood shadow blade, golden shadow blade. Yes. Luo Feng was prepared to use his own blade technique to pass the second level, comprehending the first basic wonder of the universe space laws. Be it blade technique, sword technique or Nanshin armament, he would be able to unleash them all. This was the Tao. Once one comprehended the Tao, they could quickly fuse it with different weapons and combat method. Humph! The black-clothed man snorted coldly. With a whoosh, he stepped on the bridge and charged towards Luo Feng like a bolt of lightning. At the same time, he pulled out the two blades on his back. Come! Luo Feng's eyes gleamed fiercely, that mad battle intent exploded. Boom! Luo Feng immediately rushed forward, leaving a silhouette in his original position. Another silhouette appeared before the black-clothed man. Burial! Luo Feng's eyes were sharp. With a low roar, the ghost blade in his right hand arrived in front of the black-clothed man with a force that could split mountains and seas. So fast! The black-clothed man was shocked and hurriedly crossed his sabers to resist. Pung! The black-clothed man's entire body was slashed until he knelt on the heavenly bridge and slid backwards. Wung! The black-clothed man's knee collided with the bridge, causing it to tremble slightly. What a heavy blade! The black-clothed man was shocked within, after which he fiercely leapt up. So, the black-clothed man rose into the air, after which 6 images appeared in mid-air, each wielding 2 blades. The strangest thing was, the 6 images were all displaying different blade techniques, attacking Luo Feng at the same time. Ha ha! Luo Feng, however, madly laughed and rushed over. Horizon path! Xiao! The blood shadow saber in his hand only left a very ethereal phantom in the air. It swept past the 6 phantoms and sent them flying. At the same time, 5 of the phantoms collapsed, leaving only the real body. Hate won't stop. Luo Feng immediately appeared in the air above the black-clothed man that was flying backward. His right arm fiercely thickened, causing his battle uniform to expand. The outline of his muscles seemed like they were wrapped in steel, looking extremely tyrannical. With a sense of madness, this blade directly slashed at the 2 blades that the black-clothed man was barely able to block. Rumble! The black-clothed man's entire body was slashed downwards. With a ping, he smashed into the side of the bridge, spitting out a mouthful of fresh blood and falling into the misty ocean below. I don't believe it! A roar resounded within the ocean. The black-clothed man roared and rushed into the sky. Luo Feng, however, rushed down from the bridge, laughing loudly. Then I'll beat you until you believe it! Nongying! Broken dream! Hate won't stop! Yulong! Burial! Horizon path! Luo Feng seemed to have transformed into an incomparably demonic fighter. That peculiar movement technique appeared time after time before the black-clothed man, and his blade techniques were extremely strong, be it insanely ferocious or erratic or unpredictable. Every single blade technique was terrifying, alternating between them, completely destroying the black-clothed man's ability to resist. Relying on these 6 moves to beat him, I'll have to spend more time. Luo Feng stood in the ocean, thinking within. He was using the technique that the Masha clansmen had been researching on, the illusionary 7-blade. Illusionary 7 blades had a total of 7 forms. They were Broken Dream, Nongying, Yulong, Burial, Dutchman's Pipe, Horizon Path and Hate Won't Stop. Of course these forms' names were created by Luo Feng after translating them in universe language. It could be considered as using Chinese language to barely explain the meaning of the forms. These 7 blades, there were no strong or weak ones. Some were suitable for one against many, some for assassination, some for close combat, some for strength, and their concepts were all different. Training the illusionary 7 blades, different people would probably focus on different things. Luo Feng's favorite part of the illusionary 7 blades was the Dutchman's Pipe. It was a flash in the pan. Back when the Masha clansman was researching the illusionary techniques, he focused on training the Dutchman's Pipe. This was an assassination move. It had a feeling of dancing on the tip of a blade. It was used in close combat with the opponent. In the universe, because the strong were fast, even fighters wouldn't always stay close to each other. The Dutchman's Pipe was an extreme close combat move, also known as close combat. The blade and blade clashed. the Dutchman's pipe would appear and take the opponent's life. As he had been researching the Dutchman's pipe for a long time, hence after Luo Feng comprehended the first wonder of the universe space laws, he could first infuse it into the Dutchman's pipe, hence the other 6 blades of the illusionary 7 blades didn't have the time to fuse with the first wonder. Before, Luo Feng relied purely on his 10 years of training, his comprehension of the origin laws to suppress his opponent. Luo Feng descended from mid-air, landing on the heavenly bridge. "You want to kill me, it won't be that easy." The black-clothed man in mid-air wielded 2 blades, landing on the bridge, however his eyes were cautiously looking at the black-haired youth before him. "The blade technique I'm about to unleash is called Dutchman's pipe." Luo Feng smiled at the black-clothed man. "To die under this move, it's your honor." "Humph." The black-clothed man snorted coldly. "So?" Luo Feng immediately rushed at the black-clothed man. The blood shadow blade he was originally holding in his hand immediately changed to a reverse grip. One could only see an incomparably beautiful arc of light flash. The black-clothed man's eyes stared wide. "No." The sabers in his left and right hands seemed to have transformed into countless saber shadows that surrounded him. Dang! The beautiful arc of light clashed against the blade images. He blocked it. The black-clothed man heaved a sigh of relief, after which he was suspicious. "Why is it so light?" Luo Feng's ghostly silhouette accompanied the sudden flash of the arc of light, arriving before the black-clothed man. The distance between the two was less than 2 m. The ghostly silhouette slightly moved. The arc of light flashed once again, directly slicing through the gaps of the blades, so fast that the opponent couldn't even react before it pierced through his throat. Chi! The blade that pierced through his throat swung upwards, immediately splitting the black-clothed man's head open. Fresh blood splattered everywhere. Too fast! The black-clothed man's eyes stared wide. Before he could even speak, he died, becoming a black liquid that entered the white mist. Illusionary 7 blades, Dutchman's pipe. Right, it's fast. Luo Feng flipped his hand and placed the blood shadow blade in front of him. He gently blew on it, causing the beads of blood on the blade to roll off. There was a hint of a smile in his eyes, a flash in the pan. Following the essence of the ripples in space, this blade is truly fast, truly ruthless. Comprehending the first wonder of the space laws, this blade of Luo Feng's was worthy of the name Dutchman's pipe. As for the other 6 blades, they were just formless. 3rd level. Luo Feng watched as the white mist dissipated, extending towards the 3rd level of the heavenly bridge. This 3rd level, I can't be too flashy. Blade techniques are after all what the Masha clansman specializes in. The 3rd level, I'll use the Nanshin armament. Luo Feng thought within. His earth body's strongest weapon was still the spirit weapon, after which he swiftly rushed into the sky, following the 3rd level and heading towards the end. Primal Chaos City, Tong Nan Emperor's residence. Tru Yen, Tong Nan Monarch, and Jade Monarch sat together. Leaving so early? Tru Yen was shocked. "I've been in Primal Chaos City for close to 20 days, I've already observed everything. Bolin and Rong Jun are the most exceptional, the others all have their own specialties." Jade smiled lightly. "It's time to return and meet the night." Tong Nan frowned slightly. Tru Yen suddenly frowned and exclaimed in surprise. "What's wrong?" Tong Nan and Jade looked over shocked. "It's that punk Luo Feng, he's past the 2nd level." Tru Yen couldn't hide his joy, smiling. "Just now, 2nd level?" Jade nodded. "This Luo Feng is after all one of the top, he should have passed the 2nd level long ago. Even though he's lagging behind the others, he's still lagging behind a little. Wuka and Qian Shui only passed the 2nd level in their 9th year. No, he passed the 2nd level in close combat." Tru Yen said. "Close combat?" Both Monarch Tong Nan and Monarch Jade were shocked. There were specializations in every field. A master was a master, and a martial artist was a martial artist. The strong all focused on one area, and this genius Luo Feng was a controller. Just close combat and he passed the second level? His close combat ability isn't any weaker than Wuka or Long Yun. Jade's eyes gleamed. Let's go, let's hurry to the heavenly bridge. Let's go. Tong Nan Emperor said too, at least Jade wasn't leaving for now. Haha, I had high hopes for him back then, he's not normal right? Tru Yen laughed loudly within he muttered, this punk, even in close combat, he's comparable to Long Yun and Wuka, he's a monster. Who? The three absolute beings' consciousness immediately entered the virtual universe network's heavenly bridge. Chapter 473. Virtual Universe Network's Heavenly Bridge. Three silhouettes appeared simultaneously on the beautiful island. They were all absolute warriors of the Virtual Universe Company. Tru Yen Emperor, Tong Nan Emperor, Jade Emperor. The watchman Bevan bowed respectfully. Has Luo Feng's battle on the third level begun? Jade ordered. It's about to begin, he's just reached the end of the third level. The overseer Bevan said. The overseer of the entire heavenly bridge was Bevan. He was the most familiar with everyone's situation on the heavenly bridge. Even Tru Yen King, Tong Nan King, and other super experts were unable to directly observe the battles on the heavenly bridge. Everything depended on Bevan. Play the footage of him on the sky-crossing bridge, Polished Jade said solemnly. Yes. The watchman Bevan waved his hand and immediately a 10 long, 8 wide screen appeared. On it was an image of the heavenly bridge and a ball of white mist. Luo Feng was standing on the bridge, looking at the white mist. It's about to begin. Jade's eyes gleamed. Looking at him, he seems pretty confident. Tru Yen smiled. This time, he probably won't be in close combat. Tong Nan Emperor replied. The three absolute beings were all watching the screen. Jade was here on 9 Blade Knight's orders to see which of the newbies had the most potential. Tong Nan Emperor followed Jade and Tru Yen. Tru Yen was the only one who truly wanted this. Similarly, the youths studying the 9 Universe tablet had more potential. Let me see your 10 years of improvement. I knew that recommending you to practice floating blood was the right decision, Tru Yen thought to himself. At the end of the third level, I choose. Luo Feng looked at the ball of mist before him. Controller. The huge mist at the end of the bridge was the same as the previous 2 levels. As the black liquid flew out, it formed a black-clothed man. This black-clothed man stood on a dark cloud shuttle and carried a dark golden long rod on his back. The only eye revealed under the mask locked on to Luo Feng. You want to pass the third level? Right. Luo Feng smiled. Boom! Suddenly, golden air waves erupted around his body, and the dark golden long staff behind him instantly shot out strings of golden light, instantly condensing into 9 golden swords in the golden air waves. These 9 golden swords were like a foundation, resonating with one another, causing countless sword chi to erupt, as if they were an army under command. Nanshin Armament's third stage, Heavenly Sword Stance, also known as the Sword Domain. Compared to before, Luo Feng could already control the blade domain as though it was his own arm. The energy within the domain could fuse into one. Heavenly Sword Style? The man in black sneered. Rumble golden air waves erupted around the black-clothed man. In an instant, a similar sword domain was formed. Purring! Purring! Every time the 2 spherical sword domains collided, countless sword chis would clash against each other. Don't think that you can easily pass the 3rd floor just because you passed the 2nd floor. The black-clothed man stood in midair and sneered. The 3rd level is much harder than the 2nd level. Go! Pointing at Luo Feng, immediately out of the 9 blades in the blade domain, 8 of them immediately merged together. Gold threads flowed and formed a misty huge blade. Chi. Luo Feng's sword domain was immediately broken. That huge golden blade was like a huge ship breaking through the waves. Go! Luo Feng pointed. The surrounding 9 blades simultaneously closed in. Large amounts of complex gold threads flowed and swiftly formed a huge golden blade. With a rumble, Luo Feng controlled the huge golden blade, and the opponent's huge blade clashed in mid-air. In the blink of an eye, they had clashed a few thousand times. Just relying on 8 blades as one, and you want to defeat me? Luo Feng looked at the distant black-clothed man in mid-air. Haha, don't rush. With an insolent laugh, since you're so eager to die, I'll satisfy you. Immediately the last golden blade around the black-clothed man merged into the huge golden blade, causing the misty huge blade to grow in size. Luo Feng and the black-clothed man both had 9 blades as one. However, the outer layer of the huge golden blade was different. Luo Feng's was slightly bigger, and the golden blade controlled by the black-clothed man was more compact, with more golden threads, and was slightly smaller. You'll lose for sure. The black-clothed man's eyes burned with flames. Rumble! The 2 huge golden blades clashed once again. Luo Feng's huge golden blade was immediately knocked back. The black-clothed man immediately controlled the huge golden blade to stab at Luo Feng. It's indeed powerful. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. He stepped on the dark cloud shuttle, and with a flash, a total of 100 images appeared around him. These 100 images had already completely enveloped a 1,000 m diameter area, and his movement had already reached a level that made people's hearts tremble. Every dodge was shockingly fast. So. Almost like lightning, the opponent's huge golden blade couldn't even catch up to his true body. Simultaneously, Luo Feng controlled the huge golden blade to block. Rumble! 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 Clash after clash. In terms of attack, Luo Feng seemed to always be at a disadvantage. However, in terms of movement, just relying on it, Luo Feng was actually able to dodge the huge golden blade's attacks. It was unbelievable. On the beautiful central island, the tall and sturdy True Yen Emperor, the skinny Tong Nan Emperor, the beautiful Jade Emperor all laughed as they watched the broadcast. Haha, this punk. He actually treated the heavenly bridge as a learning opportunity. True Yen laughed loudly. Jade nodded. His movement has reached the 3rd level of 10,000 thread, 100 thread. Just with the 100 thread movement, he wouldn't be able to dodge the Nanshan armament's attacks so easily. The main thing is this Luo Feng, his movement, has obviously touched upon the foundations of the universe space laws. Every time he moves, he reaches the essence. Right? He's already truly grasped the basic. Tong Nan Emperor nodded. The foundations of the universe space laws, he's already grasped a little. True Yen smiled and nodded. What level of strength did the 3 of them have? They were all emperors, existences that could immediately become permanent residents of Primal Chaos City. Compared to that God General 13, compared to the Yun Mo Planet Master, they were far beyond. If Luo Feng could be said to have grasped a little of the universe space laws, then the 3 of them had already entered the foundations of the space or time laws. They were just a little away from completely grasping it. Naturally, they could see Luo Feng's accomplishment. Grasping a little of the origin law essence, as long as he doesn't fall, his future accomplishments won't be bad. Jade smiled and exclaimed. Look, his movement is so beautiful, that movement arc, it's so precise, it's following the ripples of space. True Yen exclaimed and praised. Even that Bolin, who trains in both space and time, can instantly unleash close to 10,000 images. That movement arc isn't so perfect and precise. Jade smiled and nodded. Luo Feng unleashed the 100 thread movement, according to his grasp of the space origin laws. Every time the opponent's golden huge blade attacked, he would be able to follow the most intricate and exquisite path to dodge. It was almost like following the currents in the ocean, using the most energy-efficient method to swim. The 9 blades he unleashed as one, compared to mine, there's indeed a difference. Luo Feng relied on the heavenly blade formation and movement to block, simultaneously carefully observing how the opponent unleashed the Nanshan armament. Firstly, the 9 blades he controls are more closely linked. This is because his comprehension of the raindrop picture is stronger than mine. Secondly, after the 9 blades fuse into one, his attacks are erratic, the 9 concepts are constantly changing, it's unpredictable. Hence, just relying on the 9 blades as one, I can't block it at all. Luo Feng thought, obviously, his 9 blades as one. The 9 blades each represent the different concepts of the raindrop picture, interchanging, mysterious from the heart. And I'm still unable to do that. My only advantage is, I've already grasped a little of the origin law essence. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. All right, let's end this. In midair, that black-clothed man was already raging. If you have the ability, don't dodge, what's the point of always dodging? Then, Luo Feng suddenly stopped, the images vanished. The black-clothed man was overjoyed. Go and die. Luo Feng pointed coldly at the opponent. Xiao. The golden huge blade Luo Feng controlled wasn't as clumsy as before, it immediately drew a profound arc. With unbelievable speed it instantly reached before the black-clothed man. Fast, too fast. What? The black-clothed man, who was still in a state of joy, was shocked to find that the golden huge blade had already reached. Dang. The black-clothed man barely managed to control the dark golden staff behind him and used the entire staff to block the golden greatsword. With a clang, the golden greatsword only turned slightly, and the incomparably sharp edge of the greatsword spun and slashed across the black-clothed man's head, directly cutting off his head. Dissecting the origin law essence, the time required may be long, and the requirements for comprehension may be high. However, the power is much stronger than these shallow origin laws. Luo Feng revealed a smile. Looking ahead, the clouds had already dispersed and the 4th level of the heavenly bridge appeared, heading upwards. Rumble, in the distance, Luo Feng could clearly see the terrifying blade-like gray energy enveloping the heavenly bridge. Floating blood mentioned before, every 3 levels of the heavenly bridge is a threshold. I didn't expect that from the 4th level onwards, even the scenery would be different. Luo Feng smiled and rushed into the sky, rushing into the gray tornado above. In the center of the beautiful island. So easy? Jade Emperor was shocked. It shouldn't be this easy. He's only grasped a little of the origin law essence. He shouldn't be able to defeat a 3rd-level opponent so easily. Tong Nan Emperor was shocked too. It's consciousness. Tru Yan's eyes gleamed. His consciousness strength is many times stronger than the universe level 1 geniuses. It's because his consciousness is strong, hence when he controls the spirit weapon, its power is much stronger than what you expected. Luo Feng's consciousness was the golden horned beast's consciousness. Strong. That was normal. As Tru Yan, Jade and Tong Nan were discussing, the watchman Bevan who was waiting beside had a thought. According to the orders from above, we have to encourage this batch of geniuses to compete against each other. It's time to inform Rong Jun, Jiao Lai Shi, Bolin and the others. The watchman Bevan quietly passed the news of Luo Feng passing the 3rd level, immediately sending it to the group of geniuses who were training hard. Rong Jun, Jiao Lai Shi, Bolin, Qian Shui Tao, Gu Si Luo Wuka. They all received the news at the same time. As promised yesterday, he had updated 3 chapters. Tomorrow, he would continue with 3 chapters. If you have the votes, please support Tomato. Chapter 474. The absolute beginning region belonged to Rong Jun's personal training grounds. This was a simulation of a bustling universe city. On the balcony of a skyscraper. I've been in Primal Chaos City for over 10 years. Barefooted, messy-haired Rong Jun wielded the earth splitter blade as he stood at the top of the skyscraper, surveying the city below. This was a city he was extremely familiar with, a city with beautiful memories. Father, father, Rong Jun muttered softly. How long? How long until I become an undying? How long until I can regain my name? How long until I can kill that bastard? Rong Jun said softly. Father, I can't bear it from the bottom of my heart. His eyes were filled with tears. Endure. I will endure. In the virtual universe company, I will definitely be the most exceptional of my generation. Right now I'm weaker than Bolin, but in 50 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, I will definitely surpass him. Until one day, when I have the strength to personally kill that bastard, I will go to his capital star and barge into his god country, destroying everything he has, making him regret before his death. He clenched his fists, tears in his eyes. This hatred was etched deep into his soul. Every once in a while he couldn't help but vent it out. Rumble. Rong Jun waved his hand. Immediately the simulation vanished, returning to the vast training grounds. Teacher demonstrated the first axe for me. As long as I pass the third level, I will at least be able to listen to the other huge Axe Tablet Senior's lessons. My improvement speed will definitely increase. Rong Jun thought, with my strength, I should be able to pass the third level in 1 or 2 years. Right now, I only have one goal, to surpass Bolin. Rong Jun thought. As for the others, they were no longer a threat, because Rong Jun passed the second level in his 4th year in Primal Chaos City. This speed far surpassed the others. Rong Jun looked down curiously at the screen on his arm. There was a new mail, causing him to be suspicious. Oh, it's the Watchman Bevan's mail. Did someone break through again? The others passed the second level slower than me. The third level is much harder than the second. They can't be earlier than me. Could it be Bolin? But Bolin just passed the 4th level half a year ago. The further he goes, the faster he goes, at least another 10 years before he has hope of passing the 5th level. Rong Jun, who was suspicious, ordered softly, "Open it." The email was automatically opened. Luo Feng, this is the first time in 10 years attempting the Heavenly Bridge. He's just consecutively passed the 2nd and 3rd levels. He's currently attempting the 4th. Rong Jun's eyes widened. Oh my god! You've passed the 3rd level? Rong Jun didn't dare to believe it. I passed the 1st and 2nd level faster than him, and I even had a teacher to guide me. How is it possible? Lunatic, lunatic. Rong Jun's widened eyes were filled with shock. Heaven and Earth region. In the garden of one of the villas, a black-robed Jiao Shi appeared out of thin air. There's mail. Jiao Shi pointed at the air in front of him, and a screen appeared. A mail appeared on the screen and he opened it. The content of the email was very simple. Luo Feng, this is the first time in 10 years attempting the Heavenly Bridge. He's just consecutively passed the 2nd and 3rd levels. He's currently attempting the 4th. How is this possible? In a villa next to Jiao Shi, the fat giant, Tao, looked at the screen in front of him in shock and anger. He growled, "Madman, that madman. He actually attempted the Heavenly Bridge for the first time in nearly 10 years. He passed the 2nd and 3rd level in one go. Madman, he really is a madman. Impossible." The handsome, long green-haired absolute beginning member Jiang Mo, with engravings on his face, stared in shock at the screen. I didn't even pass the 2nd level. He actually passed the 3rd? Before Luo Feng exploded, amongst the geniuses, Bolin had passed the 4th level, Rong Jun and the other 7 had passed the 2nd level, the rest had all passed the 1st level. One had to know. Amongst the 7 that had passed the 2nd level, Long Yun was from the primal region, while Tao, Jiao Shi and Gu Si Luo were from the heaven and earth region. Only Rong Jun, Qian Shui and Wuka belonged to the absolute beginning region. This meant that the others who had entered the absolute beginning region back then, Jiang Mo, Lancelot and Ai Chun, had only passed the 1st level. Impossible! How did this madman improve so much? Our heaven and earth region has close to 100 people. The difference between us and this madman isn't that huge. How did it become like this? When Luo Feng's sudden explosion of news shocked the group of geniuses who had been secretly competing, Luo Feng had already begun his 4th level battle. A gray gale howled, shrouding the sky-crossing bridge. Luo Feng stood on the bridge, his eyes under his helmet gazing at the tornado at the end of the bridge. A voice resounded from the tornado, "Choose your opponent, fighter, controller, hypnotist, pick anyone. Defeat them, and you can begin the 5th level." "Controller," Luo Feng said immediately. Rumble. A silhouette suddenly flew out of the tornado. He was dressed in a silver-white armor and white boots. He stood on the dark cloud shuttle and carried a dark golden long rod on his back. His eyes under the silver-white mask stared at Luo Feng from afar. According to Floating Blood's description, the further one goes, the harder it gets. Luo Feng thought, I wonder just how strong this 4th level is. As Floating Blood had a simple description of the heavenly bridge, Luo Feng had some confidence in passing the 3rd level. As for the 4th, he had no confidence at all. Even if he had no confidence, he still had to try. "Silver-armored man, I hope you bring out your strongest strength," Luo Feng shouted. "Strongest?" The silver-armored man stood on the dark cloud shuttle and said solemnly, "I only know one move. If you can block it, I'll lose." "Only know one move?" Luo Feng was stunned. "Take this." The silver-armored man pointed at Luo Feng. Simultaneously the dark golden long rod on his back shot out a blur of countless little golden blades. Right, it was simply a blur. Large amounts of little golden blades floated before the silver-armored man, simultaneously infused with origin law energy floated and connected. 1,600 little golden blades. Luo Feng's gaze swept and quickly determined the exact number. Soul consciousness at Luo Feng's level, even though it wasn't as AI, it was at least much stronger than the computers of Earth. The entire Nanshin armament has a total of 10,081 little blades. The 9th level of the Nanshin armament uses all the little blades to form the most terrifying attack. Luo Feng thought, he used 1,600 little blades, that should be the 4th level. The Nanshin armament's 3rd level, Heavenly Blade Formation, required 9 golden blades to float. Every blade was formed from 81 little blades. Hence, the 3rd level used a total of 729 little blades. The Nanshin armament's 4th level, Great Skill, required 1,600 little blades to form a thick golden pillar that was close to 10 m tall, almost like the pillar of the large hall. To use the 4th level at Universe Level 1, Great Skill, it was definitely unparalleled in the universe and hard to find a worthy opponent. Before the silver-armored man, the 1,600 little golden blades were separated from each other. Countless complicated golden threads intertwined, the entire golden pillar's surface formed a very complicated picture, almost like a totem pole. Nanshin Armament's 4th level. Great Skill. This, no wonder there's only one move. Luo Feng stared. The 4th level is actually so difficult. To form a totem pole, the requirements for space and gold are extremely high. It's basically completely integrating the blade domain within the totem pole. Just a casual smash would have unbelievable power. The totem pole's power was extremely high. The moment it was formed, a casual smash could smash mountains and shatter mountains, seas and tsunamis. Take this. The silver-armored man roared softly. I want to see just how strong this move is. Luo Feng stood on the dark cloud shuttle and unleashed the 100-thread movement. His movements were already like a ghost. While dodging, he swiftly controlled the heavenly blade formation's 9 blades into one. That huge golden blade immediately drew an arc and pierced towards the silver-armored man. Peeking into the essence of the space laws, Luo Feng's attacks were extremely fast. Before, when he used the illusionary 7 blades, Dutchman's pipe to pass the 2nd level, the 2nd-level opponent could only use his 2 blades to madly revolve around his body to block. Finally, he was lucky enough to meet Luo Feng's blade. However, following that, Luo Feng's bayonet slash seemed simple, however it was so fast that the opponent couldn't even react. When he passed the 3rd level, he was similarly ridiculously fast. Along with his consciousness strength advantage, he was able to suppress the opponent. Rumble, the huge totem pole immediately rolled over. The surrounding space was slightly pressured. At this time, the totem pole seemed to be pressuring space itself. Purring! The totem pillar was simply too huge. With just a slight roll, it traversed a huge distance and collided with Luo Feng's huge golden blade. With a pring sound, the huge golden blade was smashed apart, splitting into 9 golden blades. The totem pole in mid-air immediately swept out. The pressure from the space even affected Luo Feng's movement. Too fast. Luo Feng couldn't dodge at all. The totem pole immediately clashed with his body. Passing the 4th level, failure. Heavenly Bridge, center of the island. Tru Yen, Jade and Tong Nan Emperor watched the floating screen before them. The battle description was slow, however it ended in a few seconds. It's normal for him to lose. Tru Yen nodded. Tong Nan Emperor evaluated. The Nanshan armament has a total of 9 levels, which can be split into 3 parts. 1st to 3rd, 4th to 6th, 7th to 9th. The 3rd level is still at least at the 1st level, and the 4th level's power has obviously risen tremendously. It's normal for him to lose. He's only been training in Primal Chaos City for 10 years. We can't ask for too much. Jade smiled. In just 10 years, he's already grasped the essence of the space laws. His consciousness strength is also so strong. An unexpected gain. This Luo Feng is an unexpected gain from my trip here this time. He's stronger than that Rong Jun. From what I see, he might even surpass Bolin in the future. Tru Yen said directly. Haha. It's still early, don't be too happy. Bolin's lead from the start is too big. Both Tong Nan and Jade Monarch laugh. Anyway, I have high hopes for him, Tru Yen said. At this time, in the center of the island, a silhouette appeared Rong Jun. Following which, the fat giant Tao, Wuka one after another appeared. P.S. First chapter here.